been powering the American road since before it was paved. Our first breakthrough in motor oil was introducing it. And we've been reinventing it ever since. From the world's first high-mileage oil to the world's first synthetic blend. There are those who change with the times, and those who drive them. Valvoline, the original motor oil.
The Falken Azenis RT660 is the enthusiast's choice for ultra-high performance. Engineered for predictable handling and stability, the RT660 provides maximum traction both on and off the track. Your competitive edge has arrived with the Falken Azenis RT660.
Hawk Performance packs 100 years of friction dynamics into every product. Backed by Carlisle Brake and Friction, the world's premier innovator of industrial brake and friction components, Hawk leverages R&D tools and motorsports experience to deliver uncompromising performance on the street. There's no reason to settle for less. Choose pads that are race-proven and street legal. Find the Hawk Performance brake dealer near you at hawkperformance.com.
FCP Euro is here to help you keep your car on the trails, track, or tarmac after a weekend of thrashing at GRIDLIFE Alpine Horizon Festival. So from now until Saturday, July 31st, we're giving the GRIDLIFE friends and fam 10% off their first order at FCPeuro.com using the code Alpine at checkout. Thank you all for watching this weekend, and we hope to see you at the track next time around.
What about a pizza delivery?
Oh, okay.
Trash truck plows through the delivery bikes. Formula D driver is waiting for his pizza. Says he'll deliver them in his Supra.
How about Fast Freddy's Pizza?
Love that.
Okay, let's go.
Welcome back to GRIDLIFE Live at Alpine Horizon Festival from Pikes Peak International Raceway here in Fountain, Colorado. You're joining us for GRIDLIFE Touring Cup race number 3, where by speed or by circumstance, the story of the weekend has been Jeremy Swenson taking the win in both races 1 and 2, but he will be pursued heavily by Brian Highcotter, who is on the precipice of a breakthrough for his first win here in GRIDLIFE Touring Cup in his Chris Forsberg Racing Nissan 370Z. My name's Tom O'Gorman, soon to be joined by Kyle Heyer. You're stuck with just me for right now, but he will be here in time for a majority of race number 3. And as I alluded to, the story of the weekend has been a pair of super competitive drivers who have been no more than 1 or 2 seconds apart in any session this weekend. Brian Highcotter and Jeremy Swenson will share the front row coming up to GRIDLIFE Touring Cup race number 3, and we are going wheel-to-wheel racing for a 15-minute sprint race, race 3 of 4 in this weekend. The story of this race is definitely going to be tied back to our top 8 shootout, which we had a little earlier today at about 11 a.m. That is archived a little sooner in one of these streams, but at the top it was Jeremy Swenson, who for the first time I believe this entire weekend was the fastest car on raw pace. He will start on pole, where he won race number 2, and will resume at that top spot. But just to his flank will be Brian Highcotter in the black and blue with highlighter orange Nissan 370Z, who has been just on the back foot, but so close to breaking through to his first victory in GLTC. He's an ex-professional driver, has a ton of racing experience, but by, as I mentioned, speed or circumstance, whatever the case may be, he has not quite broken through yet. Things get a little more interesting as we move down the field. There are a trio of drivers who have been absolutely on fire for that third podium spot. I'm talking about Justin Kelly, Joel Morrison, and Eric Jensen, and each of them have their own unique storylines coming into this one. As you mentioned, back in the top 8 shootout, we actually re-qualified our top 8 drivers from race 2, and they jumbled things up pretty well outside of the top 3, where Justin Kelly locked himself into 3rd, but Joel Morrison jumped from 8th all the way up to 4th on the grid. That's going to be a great spot for for that Honda S2000 driver to be starting. Those two have had some really heated battles along with a third driver, Eric Jensen, but Jensen's got his work cut out for him coming into race number 3. He actually broke an axle at the end of race number 2, missed out on the shootout entirely, and will be starting all the way at the back of the field, but that V8 powered Scion FRS has been blisteringly fast at the start of these races, and with only 15 cars on the grid, you can guarantee that that number 184 car will be working his way up through the field back towards those podium positions very, very quickly. So a great view over the speedway here at Pikes Peak International Raceway, and we can go ahead and jump to a track map. This is one of the most unique tracks we come to in GRIDLIFE Touring Cup and in GRIDLIFE on the schedule in general. It's the only roval we race at, 9-turn, 1.3 mile speedway road course, where we start at that start-finish line up on the banking at the top of your screen into NASCAR turns 1 and 2. Consider just turn 1 here on the road course. Right about here, there is a big bump right at the steepest point of the banking, and then you level back out down into a pinch point. You're going to hit the brakes right at about turn number 2. Deep braking zone into turn 3, a great passing opportunity. We've seen that pay off for some of our GLTC drivers into a pair of hairpins, almost down to second gear, 60-mile-an-hour corners, right in front of all the fans before jumping curbs through turns 5, 6, and 7, and setting up for a great run off of turns 8 and 9 onto that speedway once again. And that turns 8 and 9 has been absolutely critical for a couple of our competitive drivers. Swenson and Highcotter have such unique lines through there. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch them. As we roll into the green flag of this race, you'll see that they have very different approaches, but to very similar effect. Looking down the field just a little bit more, we have a couple of other drivers with some interesting storylines. Jeremy Boysen, who will roll off in the 6th position in this race. He is our most competitive front-wheel drive car here this weekend. Has been going back and forth on tire choices, seems to have settled on a treaded race tire, and that has really been effective for getting him up to speed very quickly. He had a breakthrough from kind of floundering a little bit in race number 1 to finishing in the 4th position in race number 2 after Eric Jensen's axle failure. He will start 6th in this race, but that Acura is very fast in a straight line. But just in front of him is one of the local favorites, Nick Steniford, who we just talked to actually recently. He's racing that Honda S2000 on a Falken street tire, but not the Falken street tire that we're all used to talking about, the 660. He's actually on the previous generation Falken RT 615. That is Zini's tire, which is still a great tire, but measurably not as grippy as that 660. He's been coming to this track for years and years, and he finally broke into the 1 minute and 3 lap time range in the top 8 shootout, and he was absolutely thrilled with that, and that's going to start him 5th on the grid. So that's a local driver, does well kind of storyline. We're going to be really excited to watch that white Honda S2000 come through the field potentially, or maybe have to defend from some cars as they get back up to speed. There's a look at our grid down on the pit lane, all the cars backed into place. 15 cars total taking the green flag, and you can see our top 3 packed in real tight up there behind the Toyota GR Supra. That is a 2022 brand new car out here as our pace car all weekend. Big thanks to Toyota for helping us out, hanging out with us here at Alpine Horizon Festival. Taking a look at Joel Morrison rolling into grid. He's our last arriver in that black and green S2000. And we have a lot of those S2000s here, but very few of them are powered by their actual stock motor. Joel Morrison's actually the only one that has anything resembling a stock motor in that S2000, and even that has a little bit of tweaking done to it. So we'll talk a little bit about the prep levels of these different cars. But GRIDLIFE Touring Cup, if you're joining us for the first time, you're about to watch 15 minutes of wheel-to-wheel sprint racing, very similar to what you would do in Gran Turismo or Forza, where you'd hop in with whatever car you've got, you bang out a bunch of races, you have a good time with your friends. Every single race scores points, and the person with the most points at the end of the weekend is the champion for that weekend. Right now, Jeremy Swenson stands on top of those points with having won races 1 and 2, but we're only halfway through this one, so Brian Highcotter is not out yet. It's going to be tough for anybody else to catch one of those two, I think, but Justin Kelly, Joel Morrison, and the rest have been keeping them honest. Take a quick look at our weather information. It is much cooler today, so we might see some really quick laps in this race. We have new track records already been set in many of the time attack classes, in addition to the GRIDLIFE Touring Cup wheel-to-wheel series. 101s even, almost breaking the 1 minute mark with cars 200 horsepower around this big speedway is so impressive from these drivers. But you can see the track temp under 100 degrees for the first time this weekend. Pretty heavy cloud cover, and just behind our drone shot off to the left, pretty nasty looking storm, but that's past us. We're not going to have to worry about weather in this one. It'll be a lot of fun, but there's dramatic off in the distance behind the mountains, things looking pretty exciting over there. We've seen some big lightning, some big storms, and that's kind of what I love about coming out here to Colorado. We have just a completely unique view where we don't get a lot of the other Midwest tracks, even though they have their own special flavor. So as I mentioned, Kyle Hire will be joining me a little bit later in the booth. He's wrapping up another commitment and will be joining me back, but I did my best Kyle impression for the intro there. And I think this one's going to be such an interesting flow. I really don't know that anybody's got anything for Swenson and Heitkotter, but those two have been absolutely the class of the field and keeping each other honest. Having talked to a number of the drivers through the field, spent a lot of time talking to Jeremy Swenson actually, and he's feeling like it's been a successful weekend more by circumstance more than speed. He feels the weather has certainly helped him a bit. Certain other drivers injecting themselves into battles here and there has helped him a little bit. He does not feel he has the fastest car on the grid, although the shootout times would beg to differ. The big difference between those cars, obviously, besides the different makes and models, is Brian Heitkotter is racing on a race tire that is a pretty traditional race tire that most of the cars would race on in GRIDLIFE Touring Cup. Jeremy Swenson racing on a treaded, quote-unquote, street tire that tends to be a little quicker out of the box, but maybe not as durable. And I think these cooler conditions are absolutely going to play into his hands just a little bit. The other car that really will have that effect will be Nick Steniford and Jeremy Boysen. They will start side by side on the third row. Both of those cars on a treaded street tire that really wakes up a little bit quicker on these starts. We're going to have 2 pace laps field rolling out onto the circuit for the first time. And there you see the field. That purple Corvette is Jeremy Swenson. The black with highlighter orange is Heitkotter. Justin Kelly in the black and red FRS. And we might as well start to roll that starting grid. So on the front row, we've already talked about him, the number 30 of Jeremy Swenson alongside Brian Heitkotter in the number 5. Then Justin Kelly, that's a V6 powered FRS. In third position, the car number 86 from Myriad Motorsports. Then the black and green of Joel Morrison jumping up from 8th on the grid, finishing order of race 2. To 4th based on the strength of his top 10 shootout performance. That's a really good performance for him. Gets himself back in the game in the number 71 9 Lives Racing car. Then Jeremy Boysen and Nick Steniford start side by side. Steniford is 5th, Boysen is 6th in the RSX. Behind them, a couple of teammates from Myriad Motorsports. Jake Jornstad in the number 23, just in front, just alongside, I should say, his teammate Tiffany Kelly. Those cars, a pair of S2000s. There's the teal of Jake Jornstad. That is a K-Series motor. And then behind him, Tiffany Kelly with another one of those V6 Honda motors swapped into her car. Drivers had a little bit of a quiet weekend on the stream for us is Stephen Cox. That's the red Corvette, the 1999 C5 Corvette. Has had good consistent performances, but I'm sure he's looking to break through a little bit more. He won one race at this event last year and has struggled to kind of find that success once again. He starts alongside Bill Griffin in the 9th spot, Bill Griffin in 10th. Then Colton Wade in the E46 M3 BMW, that's white with blue and red stripes down the side. He starts 11th in the number 18 car alongside Felipe Gonzalez in the final Myriad Motorsports car. That is once again a Honda S2000 with a K-Series motor swapped into it. Then Brian DeFries, number 898. That's a blue Civic. Street driven to the races, camps out in it. Super cool story and super competitive as well. He's been having some great battles there towards the back of the field. He will start 13th alongside our man to watch, Eric Jensen, that black FRS. That's got a V8 with a 4-speed dog box transmission swapped into it. He has had the most fantastic starts all weekend, but unfortunately has failed to finish either race. He's finished at the back from a last lap failure both races. Watch that car on the start. Bringing up the end of the field, Jorge Ortiz in car number 19. That car is heavily in development, will eventually be a turbo-powered MX-5, but for the time being is a fairly reserved stock Miata power plant in that car. He brings up the 15th position. And just as I say that, we have the field packing and pairing up, and I'm joined by our head commentator, Kyle Hire. Hi, Kyle.
Hi, I'm the one rushing into the booth this time. We're getting real good at timing these things out just right.
Look at us.
Well, glad to join you here, Tom, and thanks for running through. I'm just not quite in the shot there. There we go. As we get ready for our 3rd race of the weekend, we, of course, had our shootout this morning, which I'm sure you talked about and got the grid set up for us. But doubling up now with Swenson and Heitkotter on pole, this is going to all come down to the run down to turn 3. We're going to see who wins it, but also keep an eye on Eric Jensen in the back. He's going to come sailing up from the rear.
I was going to say, we're going to be cross-eyed on the start here, watching the cars at the front and one car at the back. There's Jensen in the black FRS at the back, but once again, we've already set it up plenty for you. Swenson and Heitkotter, a big duel at the front. Swenson with the low line into the banking for the first time. Heitkotter on the high side, and we're coming to the green flag.
Last corner, 3rd race of the weekend of 4 GRIDLIFE Alpine Horizon GLTC race number 3. Green flag flies. We're racing Boysen. A great start up the middle. 5 wide.
5 wide.
Oh, man, 4 wide still as we head down. Here comes Justin Kelly on the inside. He's going to take the lead as we head up onto the banking. He's got it as they come out of NASCAR turn 2 up onto the backstretch. Still 3 wide as we come up off the corner. Swenson gets squeezed. Here comes Boysen now up the inside for 3rd place. Make it 2nd. He's got it. Hike Cutter on the outside of the brakes. Now Tiffany Kelly, that was her on the inside that got up a couple spots too.
Wow, this is still 3-wide action. Highcotter holds the position around the outside. A little bit of a push from Jeremy Boysen, but look at Swenson has absolutely been swallowed up. We are still 3 wide for second place. Highcotter has the inside run for turn number 4. Justin Kelly getting away just a little bit. Where is Eric Jensen?
He's made up a couple spots, I think. You see him floating in the background there, but it's Highcotter back to second place, but crucially and critically, Justin Kelly through to the race lead. Tiffany Kelly up to third, and Jeremy Boysen hangs on to fourth. There's Jensen. He gained, what, 6-7 spots in the first couple corners. Spectacular start, shaking things up. Swenson all the way back in fifth. Now Boysen having a look at Tiffany Kelly up here on the front straight.
So it's Justin Kelly running away from the field just a little bit. Highcotter sets his sights forward, but the teammate of Kelly is just behind. His wife, in fact, Tiffany Kelly, in pursuit. Then Jeremy Boysen straightens out. We got a 3-wide attack. Once again, that is Eric Jensen up the inside.
Yeah, Jensen took it to the bottom. He's got a rocket ship. He had an axle break yesterday and moving forward, but Justin Kelly has clear racetrack ahead of him. Can Highcotter respond and run him back down? Here's Swenson now having a look at the inside of Jeremy Boysen on the run down to turn 3. Swenson should be quick, but he's going to have to pass 4 cars to get back to the front.
Track temp's cooler than ever, and even more so than the shootout today, but we have a drag race between an RSX and a Corvette and GLTC towards turn number 4. Swenson around the outside, Boysen up the inside. A pair of Jeremys racing hard. Then Jake Jornstad has also made his way around Joel Morrison. Morrison is maybe the big slip at the beginning of this race. He's fallen from 4th back to 8th.
Are we going to go side by side through the S's? I think we are. Look at this side by side. Boysen up on top of the curb. Swenson runs wide. Plenty of space given. Boysen slips. Here comes Jornstad in the 23 up the inside, door to door through turn 9, but Swenson to 4th.
Morrison going to try to go with him, and Jensen in the background, but Swenson has now cleared everybody. It's a drag race. Look at the legs on that Acura RSX. Just blows the doors off of that S2000 of Jornstad. The top 3 really breaking away, equidistant between them, and then this 5-car battle for 5th.
Look at Joel Morrison down to the bottom of the racetrack with a huge run. You see the background, the 117 is Stephen Cox also taking a run too. About 10 car lengths between the 2 race leaders. Another 8 back to Tiffany Kelly. Then it's Swenson in 4th, but he's a long ways back here. I know it's early, but that's still a long climb. Look at Jensen. Oh, big lockup from Jake Jornstad in the braking zone for turn number 3. Now Morrison on the attack.
Surprised to see that car doesn't have ABS, but fast lap of the race. Brian Highcotter, a 102.1. He is absolutely in pursuit of Justin Kelly right now. And I have to wonder, these track conditions, oh, Jensen up the inside of Morrison, just shows the nose, trying to rattle the S2000 driver, none having it right now. But Morrison does actually run wide. Maybe it worked.
Yeah, a little bit too wide, but Jensen is not there to pounce on it. Back up to Swenson. You can see him closing the gap up to Tiffany Kelly. Does he have enough time to get all the way back to the front? He's won both races and has been remarkably consistent over the course of a race, more so than we thought. But can he fight from the back of this front group to get to the lead? That's a tall task as they come across the line. Kelly, a 102 flat that time through. Highcotter a little slower, surprisingly enough. Tiffany Kelly, a 102.7. Then Jeremy Swenson, a 102.005. That was the quickest of anybody in the top 5.
Yeah, and that's the fast lap of the race right now. Going back to conditions, we watched in the shootout that the Kelly's cars, the Myriad cars, were very, very loose. They were really squirrely coming off of the slow corners. We suspected maybe they're running a bit of a stiffer setup, and now with the cooler conditions, more grip available. You see Tiffany still scrabbling for grip, but those cars really seem to be coming alive in the cooler conditions here, whether that's by engine power or by chassis setup. We have yet to be seen, but Jeremy Swenson is starting to fill the mirrors of Tiffany Kelly, who's had a fantastic start, up from 8th to 3rd, and is now starting to get run back down by some of our first race 1 and 2 front runners.
Yeah, Tiffany and Justin both got spectacular starts, and both the red and gray cars were launching forward on the inside of the banking. They had it figured out. At the front, you can see Justin Kelly's lead looks a little bit smaller this time as they come across the line. What's the lap times? How about a 101.9? That was the quickest lap I think we've seen Justin run all day. 102.0 for Highcotter, same for Swenson. So it is very, very tight. This is the most competitive I think we've seen the entire field all weekend here, Tom, and there's still about 10 minutes left in this race, and there's a lot of volatility left in this race.
Wow, the track is fast. I'm looking at the 10th place driver, Nick Steniford. We talked about him in the top of the show, breaking into the 103, so the 103.9 in the shootout. How about a 103.3? That's how much faster the track is in this race. Everybody picking up speed. Kelly, though, looks a little bit like she is a sitting duck as Swenson is getting bigger very, very quickly.
Yeah, both Tiffany and Justin, they had the same issue in the shootout where they were understeering massively through turn number 3, so they were countering that with a lot of throttle, and they're sliding and losing a ton of ground at the exit of that corner.
It's what we call pushy loose. It pushes on the way in and then gets loose on the way off, and that is the absolute worst kind of dynamic you want. But you look at how composed Jeremy Swenson has been able to make up those last couple of car lengths through turns 7, 8, and 9, and now watch him dive to the bottom of the track, cut the distance off of the banking. No, I lied. He's going to go for the draft.
Well, here we go again. Tiffany Kelly earlier ripped the gurney flange off the top of the rear wing on that car to gain a little bit of top end. We'll see if that's going to help her. I did ask earlier, about 1.5 miles an hour was the difference. As behind him, there was a battle. I think Jornstad and Morrison were door to door.
They were door to door, really down low on the apron of the, almost to their apron of the speedway as well. But something seems to really have worked, whether it's the gurney flap or the cooler conditions. Tiffany Kelly's car looks really fast in a straight line. She drove away from Swenson that time.
Whatever they've done has worked, and a little bit cleaner through turn 3 that time. I'm just shocked. Highcutter has just been stuck in second all weekend long. He's a little quicker than Justin, but this is looking very similar to how he was trying to chase down Swenson. Just isn't able to close the deal out, but we still got a lot of racing left, so let's not call it here early. But still, great battles for third and beyond. You see Boysen still hanging on to fifth in the background, but this shot, a little bit of a wiggle by Tiffany Kelly. A little weakness there. Swenson going to try to do the over-under at the exit of 9.
Well, as we saw last lap, I'm starting to suspect that it's a straight line speed thing that is becoming Swenson's problem, which is a surprise considering the V6 of that S2000. But watch what happens this time through. See them almost side by side. We'll see where they are when they hit the brakes for turn number 2. But if it's similar to last lap, Kelly's going to have 5-6 car lengths on him. And look, already motoring away.
Jeremy trying a different line, running way higher up on the oval to try to carry some more speed, but it's the long way around. I'm not sure that that's the move to necessarily make, as you see the two race leaders arcing up onto the back straightaway and into the turn 3 hairpin. Tiffany on the brakes. That car looking very composed in the braking zones as well. Nice to see. But right here, this is where she struggles. Big slide there. She watches out wide. That's been her weakness all weekend long. And you see Jeremy close up. But Tom, you can't really pass down here in the infield.
Just behind them, Jeremy Boysen. Yes, we got so many Jeremys. Jeremy Boysen has a big problem in his mirrors, and it is Joel Morrison, who's gotten his way by Jake Jornstad. They're going to be the next battle into frame behind our battle we've been watching. There's the battle for third, and now Jeremy Boysen, Joel Morrison have a great battle for fifth as well.
Up onto the front straightaway to complete what would be the 7th lap of the race. Side by side now, Swenson and Tiffany Kelly, door-to-door, Corvette versus V6 S2000. And it looks like Tiffany's still pulling Swenson, even though they're directly alongside. Swenson's going to have the shorter way around now. 10 degrees of banking here at PPIR, just enough to keep the cars from sailing up into that outside concrete. Out of NASCAR turn 2, and Swenson is clear for third place.
I was going to say, this turns into a game of guts more so than straight line speed, and Swenson had the guts to keep it in down at the bottom of the racetrack, and before even the braking zone, he's got the third position back. Now starting to lap drivers. It looks like Justin Kelly maybe got balked a little bit by Jorge Ortiz, had to check up a little bit, and now has Brian Highcutter right on his back bumper.
This is as close as Highcutter's been since the drop of the green flag. Only 3 car lengths between them as they sail through the infield section, climbing the curbs. Highcutter is so close to his first GLTC win. He can taste it as they head through the infield, Tom. Past the halfway point in this race, he's got to get her up and get somewhere, spook Kelly or do something, because he is just not getting as close as he needs to get to make a pass.
Well, he is within the drafting distance, but as I mentioned, there's something. I mean, if they found what they found with Tiffany's car for Justin's car, both of those cars looks really fast in a straight line all of a sudden. As you see him now motoring away from Highcutter, those cars have found an extra gear or something, because they have absolutely started to gap everybody on this banking, but Highcutter in the draft just a little bit has been able to stay with him, and I think the infield goes to the 370Z driver.
Oh, look at the braking, though. Highcutter gains all the ground back in the brakes for turn number 3. Now it's half a car length as they come through the exit. It looks like Kelly's a little bit wide, but wow, Highcutter was so good there. If he can get alongside, it's game over. I think Highcutter's got the spot, but he's got to get close enough to where he can actually make that pass.
Yeah, it depends on if Kelly was paying attention, but Highcutter now knows if he can get anywhere closer than that, he will be able to throw it up the inside, make a big lunge, and maybe balk Kelly, get the position down into turn number 3. I think that's the best hope that he's got, because that FRS has the legs on the speedway right now. We'll see if that gap changes much more, but I would say Highcutter looks much more composed on the infield.
This was a much better exit for turn number 9. Now he's only 2 car lengths back, fully in the draft now. If he can do the braking that he did last time, but just offset, that could spook Kelly enough to look in the mirror and miss his braking point, go a little wide in turn 3 and open the door, open the opportunity. 9.5 minutes in, we're still racing. No white flag just yet on the banking here at Pikes Peak International Raceway.
New fast lap of the race. Brian Highcutter that time through a 101.930. That is among the fastest laps we've seen all weekend. One of maybe 4 under the 102 mark. Deep on the brakes once again, but Kelly drove away on the banking once again. That's going to be Highcutter's problem.
did talk to Highcutter earlier. He said the engine was actually skipping every time he hit the bump. It was cutting out like it was hitting some sort of limiter. He just felt like it was fuel starving, but he said that wasn't what it was. So he's been chasing that. That could be why he's getting gapped on the banking, but he's so close, Tom. He just needs a little bit of luck. Somebody needs to make a mistake, but no one has done it in front of Highcutter.
And how frustrating must it be for Highcutter? Once again, we said he is winless in GLTC despite having such success in this first season with that 370Z, and he just hasn't been able to break through. And for somebody else to come and dethrone Jeremy Swenson, and for it not to be him, that has to be so frustrating. This is once again the closest he's been, only 1 car length.
I think if he could run higher on the oval, avoid that bump, that might keep the engine running long enough to get him a little bit closer. You can see him now. He is running a little higher on the bank. You can try to stay out of that bump. Now comes down a little lower. Where does he lose that time? Right at the exit. It seems where Kelly's car is pulling. As soon as they get straight again, it's like Kelly's car gets another gear. Here's Highcutter way late on the brakes on the outside. Now he's alongside into turn number 3. Can he keep the overlap over-under on exit? Highcutter trying to get the lead away from Justin Kelly. Here he comes on driver's left.
And Kelly feeling the pressure big time, put the car in the middle of the track on purpose. That time he knew Highcutter was close enough to make a move. Highcutter tries the outside. This is a skid pad corner, totally flat. No mechanical,
he's got him.
Nothing but mechanical grip, and we're going to go side by side into the S's.
Here we go, side by side with the 2 race leaders. Finally, Highcutter has a taste of the lead. Huge slide for both the race leaders. Oh man, a big bumble for the 86 car as he gathers it back up. But now Highcutter takes the lead away here at PPIR, climbs the banking, and now he's got clear track in front of him for the first time this weekend.
At least 2 laps left, no white flag yet, but we are 11.5 minutes in, working lap number 11, or working lap number 10, finishing lap 10 just there. New leader Brian Highcutter with the fast lap of the race as well is in the catbird seat, poised for his first win. Can he hold on?
Man, that was a heck of a pass around the outside of turn 4. Unbelievable. I haven't seen something like that in a while now. Justin Kelly all the way to the outside concrete wall, trying to close that gap back down. Does he have the brakes to close back in on Highcutter? He's going to try to close that gap here, Tom, but his weakness is in the brakes. Highcutter's real good there.
Looking back, Jeremy Swenson is kind of all by his lonesome. Tiffany Kelly's pace has fallen off just a little bit, and the rest of the field, we haven't seen much of them, but I know that something has happened to Joel Morrison. He slipped back behind Jeremy Boysen and Eric Jensen once again. Jensen is working his way all the way from 14th to 6th.
There he is.
There they are. They're having a great battle.
Yeah, there's Jeremy Boysen in the Acura RSX, Eric Jensen in the FRS. That's the black and red car on the right-hand side of your screen. Now they're door-to-door through turn number 4. This is spectacular stuff on the infield of PPIR. Jensen runs way out wide. Now look at Joel Morrison watching the battle from behind, trying to pick which line's going to go forward.
Oh, power move around the outside for Jensen, but he's not going to stick it like Highcutter was able to. They're still side by side. Joel Morrison has to pick his teammate. Who does he want to follow through? He goes up the inside.
Here he goes.
Boysen slams the door. Look at the drag racing out of the corner. The 4-cylinder RSX makes it work. And starts to stretch his lead.
That was a spectacular drive off corner number 9 for the number 99. Jeremy Boysen takes that spot away, but Jensen now on driver's right. White flag in the air. Final lap here at PPIR for GLTC race number 3. Highcutter leads. Drama's behind him for 5th place. All sorts of sliding around. Great stuff here.
This 5th place battle is not done by any stretch. Down to the braking zone through turns 2 into turn number 3. Who will be able to get it done? Highcutter pulling away from Kelly. Swenson not close enough to do anything with either of them. I think that's going to be our podium. But in 5th, we have an attack from Jensen on Boysen. Jensen in the FRS. Boysen, massive understeer in the RSX. Just can't get the power down, but look at the legs that thing has.
Spectacular drive now, side by side again into turn 4. The short way around the 99, the long way around for the 184. Door to door as they come up off of 4 and into the twisty stuff now. This is going to get really dicey. Jensen going to try to hold driver's left, checkered flag waving, and Brian Highcutter for the first time ever will pick up a GLTC win. 3-car battle side by side through the infield at PPIR.
Any one of these 3 could take 5th. Yes, this is the battle only for 5th.
Oh,
trouble. Joel Morrison tags Jeremy Boysen. He tacks her up, puts the power down. The front-wheel drive car straightens back up. Jake Jornstad around the outside will pick up a position, but it was Jensen that gets a clean run, finally finishes the race. Look at the drag race between the S2000s.
Wow. So a little bit of contact there for Joel Morrison and Jeremy Boysen, but looked like relatively minor contact and just flesh wounds, I hope. But wow, Tom, that was a heck of a race. That's one of the best ones I've seen in some time. Brian Highcutter, Justin Kelly. How about the pass on the outside of turn 4? You can't do that here. And look what he just did.
It was spectacular, and I love that top 8 shootout is what gave us that amazing race. Massive congratulations for Brian Highcutter to take his first ever GRIDLIFE Touring Cup win in that Chris Forsberg Racing 370Z. It's been a long time coming, I will have to say. He's been working his butt off. They've developed that car. Remember back at COTA when he was just nowhere, and he was like, we have a lot of work to do. you. And here they are. They finally have broken through for a win. Justin Kelly second, Jeremy Swenson third. That's an okay points race, but that's not where he wanted to be. And now we get to look forward to our inverted race number 4.
Oh man, I'm so excited for that. The number for the invert is going to be 6. So the driver that will start on pole for race number 4 is going to be Jake Jornstad in the number 23. Alongside him will be Eric Jensen in the 184. Ooh, I'm getting excited just thinking about that one.
And Jake Jornstad doesn't know that yet. We were the first to say that. We got a text from race control as soon as the race started. This is going to be the pole position. And it was the contact between the other 2 drivers that allowed Jornstad to come around the outside and pick up that 6th position. He barely took the win for over Joel Morrison for that pole position.
Man,
we're tired.
We're exhausted. That was so much fun to watch. Man, GRIDLIFE Touring Cup never ceases to disappoint, to never disappoints, I should say. Never ceases to amaze is the word I was looking for. But Eric Jensen, let's talk about him. Started at the rear. He's had bad luck all weekend. Finally scores a top 5. It might have been his first top 5 ever, I believe, for the number 184 of Eric Jensen. So he's been working hard to get that car back up to tip-top shape. Does a really nice job. But again, it was Brian Highcotter and the Chris Forsberg Racing Nissan 370Z that goes to victory lane for the first time this season. Justin Kelly for Myriad Motorsports in second. Jeremy Swenson, Tiffany Kelly, Eric Jensen, then Jornstad, Morrison, Boyes, and Steniford, and Stephen Cox rounding out the rest of the top 10. We're going to get the later stories for you, find out where everyone stands with the damage at the end from the collision at the end, and we'll update you before race number 4, which will be at 6:10 p.m. Mountain Time later today. But that's it for GLTC race number 3. Time Attack up next. Kyle Heyer alongside Tom O'Gorman from the FCP Euro Race HQ. We'll talk to you in a little bit. GRIDLIFE Touring Cup is brought to you by FCP Euro. Every part you buy is guaranteed for life. Falken Tire. Falken Tires. Competition-proven performance. MOMO, the official safety partner of GRIDLIFE. Hawk Brakes. Race proven, street legal. And by Valvoline. Valvoline VR1, available at Advanced Auto Parts stores. Alpine Horizon is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. And by Airlift Performance. Airlift Performance lets you get low and live your life on air. Check out all their newest products, including Builder Series shocks, threaded manifolds, and flow air ride tanks at airliftperformance.com.
Hey, we still on this weekend for a little?
You know it. I'm in desperate need of some.
What about you, Jim?
No, my sister's getting the wedding. She's getting married, so.
When adventure calls, make sure you're ready to answer. STA-BIL 360 ethanol treatment is specifically formulated for year-round use, so your engines will be ready when you are. Ready, willing, stable.
The next generation of auto detailing is here, where simplicity meets performance. 303 Graphene Nanospray Coating. Get a year of protection from a powerful graphene oxide formula. A formula that sends water flying off surfaces, keeping water spots at bay. Go beyond wax, beyond ceramic. Graphene nanospray coating from 303.
FCP Euro is here to help you keep your car on the trails, track, or tarmac after a weekend of thrashing at GRIDLIFE Alpine Horizon Festival. So from now until Saturday, July 31st, we're giving the GRIDLIFE friends and fam 10% off their first order at FCPEuro.com using the code Alpine at checkout. Thank you all for watching this weekend, and we hope to see you at the track next time around.
The Falken Azenis RT660 is the enthusiast's choice for ultra-high performance. Engineered for predictable handling and stability, the RT660 provides maximum traction both on and off the track. Your competitive edge has arrived with the Falken Azenis RT660.
Back live at Alpine Horizon at Pikes Peak International Raceway in Fountain, Colorado. My name's Kyle Heyer, joined by Adam Nielsen for the next heat of Time Attack here from Pikes Peak International Raceway, the 1.3-mile, 9-turn Roval that's hosted our Competition Music and Motorsports Festival this weekend. Adam, welcome back.
Yeah.
This morning, I know you guys have had a Time Attack session since this morning, but again, Ferris Khartoumi running incredible lap times.
So fast.
I chatted with him earlier, 168 off into turn number 3. So
insane time. Speeds, just an absolute. I mean, that's got to be one of the fastest things that's ever gone around, even the oval. I don't know what an Indy car would do mile per hour here, but that's got to be pretty close to it.
It's not far off. I know that for sure. We've got Time Attack coming up. I know that as Tom O'Gorman was leaving the booth here, he said he felt some raindrops. So the weather is sort of a question mark. But as we saw yesterday with the GLTC race, Adam, I'm not convinced that a light rain is going to massively affect the grip levels out there. It seems like the surface is porous enough that a light rain just cools the surface off and doesn't really soak it and get it wet.
I think if we can stay away from a real downfall in rain here, that I think this might be one of our fastest sessions. The clouds have been covering the sun. The track temp's got to be pretty reasonable. This kind of heavy air, I mean, I think we can make some decent power for the elevation. I think this is the session if the rain will stay away.
So I think looking at our Group A order here, I think one driver I'm watching is Dewey in the Boogeyman car.
Yeah.
He's been consistently getting faster and faster. I'm just watching him visually out the windows on the NASCAR banking here, sailing off into NASCAR turn 1, making me nervous with how fast he's going.
He's knocking on the door of Alex Moss in Super K. He's got to be a little nervous. Dewey's always a threat, but he always seems to have a problem. And I think when he can put it all together, he's a real contender.
So with a slight drizzle, I think the all-wheel drive that he's got could also be an advantage if it gets a little bit slippery, something that Alex Moss does not have in the Super KS 2000. So that could help him just a little bit. So just for reference, the times from the previous session for them, a 58.750 for Alex Moss, a 59.351 for Dewey in Boogeyman. So that's about a half-second gap to make up. But we've seen half-second swings left and right all weekend, Adam, with the track conditions changing.
I think this is a track that, you know, like a lot of our regular drivers have lots of experience on places like Gingerman and, you know, some of the tracks that we've been to many, many times. And so there's not as much time to find in the driver on that track, whereas this one, at most, they've probably only been here 2 or 3 times. There's time to make up just as a driver. And that allows us to see some bigger swings in times.
Also, you know, I've been kind of keeping an eye on the way that drivers are approaching the banking here at Pikes Peak International Raceway. You can run a traditional NASCAR line where you're wide on the entry, you cut down to the inside line on the apex, and then track out again at the exit of NASCAR 2. Or you can kind of rim right all the way around and keep max speed, which is what we've seen Dewey doing. Or you can just basically, you know, run right against the white line all the way around if you don't have the horsepower to make speed on the top side. There's a lot of different ways to do this. Ferris Khartoumi's back out. Did he convert this car back to track mods?
When I talked to him earlier today, he said that he thought his last session today he might put on his 200 treadwears and go for a track mod time.
All right, so let's see what, I guess we'll have an idea when he comes across the line. Where
he told me he would have to probably unhook his traction control and ABS because they're calibrated for a different wheel size.
Interesting.
And so that would make this one hell of a handful car to drive. So I don't know if he's doing that, you know, and it's kind of hard to tell from the booth. Those titanium skid plates really doing their job.
I love watching cars throw sparks as he sets up now for a flying lap. And when I say flying, I mean quite literally.
Yeah.
They turn the wings upside down on this thing. I think he'd be taking off down the front straightaway. All right, climbing the banking here and beginning a flying lap for Ferris Car Toomey. On the front straight here, speeds climbing, as he told me earlier today, north of 165 miles an hour. Some smoke from the tailpipes on that car here through turn 1 and turn 2. This is a really, really fast car. So, whoa. I wonder if that could be...
When I was watching him earlier today, I think that might be dust and aero. But it's hard to say. That car... you know, it's hard to say.
Well, car looks pretty hooked up, so he might still have his traction control on. Otherwise, I would think that thing would be a beast with 1,200 horsepower kicking the rear end out. There he goes all the way out to track edge. Nicely composed, now up over the curbs, even with the aero. Got to be aggressive, got to slam those titanium sparking skid pads down on the ground and make as much speed as you can. Now rolling through turn number 9. The time to beat would be a 53.233. Could he go quicker than a 53.233?
Come on, 52.
Cross the line, 54.2.
54.2, okay. Still, I mean, in a league of his own.
Yeah, I mean, he's still in his own zip code.
Yeah.
By far and away, but I guess compared to his time earlier, still some time to gain back. Mike McGinnis is out there on track as well. He just ran a 57.9. Derek Boyd a 1:1.175. A lot of traffic out there at the moment. I see some windshield wipers going as well.
Mike McGinnis getting his 57. Very close to it in our earlier session, but kind of threw away a lap that I think would have done it. And I'm glad to see he managed to pull it off.
Here's Ben Thorne in the Club TR EK Civic. Again, Ben Thorne from the Gears and Gasoline YouTube channel. Right now leading Club TR, and his time at the moment is
103. Gosh, it's...
Oop, I just saw him somewhere. Where did he go?
A 103.4 for Ben Thorne.
All right, so can he beat a 103.4? I think he's just starting a flying lap now, up onto the banking. So I talked to him earlier. Now, we said Ferris Car Toomey was doing 168. Well, Ben was doing about 117 off into turn number 3. So there's the difference between...
Still not slow. Not slow. No.
Yeah, but that's the difference between about
a
little north of 200 wheel horsepower versus 1,200.
Right, potentially.
But nicely composed on the brakes. We talked yesterday about how this car was here last year in a different spec, and it was really struggling over the curbing, especially on the backside of the course. But this car very well sorted this time through. Although as he heads off into turn number 4, we'll see if he can improve on his time. Again, I'm curious to see if the light rain is going to just cool the track off and help grip, or if it's going to be hurting it. We'll see. Again, he's on the Falken RT 660. That's the spec tire for this category.
Yeah.
So it has a little bit of tread, good enough to get rid of a little bit of water, but I wouldn't go driving through puddles with it.
I don't know a whole lot of people who have a lot of experience with these in the wet. I don't know what their performance is versus a dry situation.
I'm sure they're better than a dry by a fairly significant margin. I just don't know that they're the tire to have in the dry. But across the line for Ben Thorne, and that is going to be a 107.858, so pretty far off from his best.
It looks like, I think Dewey DeWitt improved his time, dipping into those 58s. But still just a tiny little bit behind Alex Moss, who appears to be parked.
Yep, the green S2000 of Alex Moss parked somewhere. Now, for those that haven't, I'm not sure if this has been a big topic of discussion, but Alex
on
Moss...
track, no less. That probably will be a black flag.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where this is. I think this isn't a cutout, so he might be okay. But for those that don't know, this car is actually swapped with a sequential transmission.
Sort of.
Sort of.
It's a dual clutch transmission, a BMW factory trans. So it's not quite sequential by the definition of GRIDLIFE's rulebook. Sequentials being specifically outlawed in street mod, which was a huge debate.
Yeah, I remember that discussion.
Quite the internet's drama there.
Oh, there's Mike Amick in the number 6 Subaru STI. Now, he's slow, real slow on the banking.
Someone we've seen him make a huge improvement this weekend.
Yeah. I'd imagine that this is... Oh, he's actually in NASCAR 3 and 4.
Yeah, he looks to be just trying to get out of the way.
Yeah. There's the Festiva again. I love this car. That's Charlie Whitney. Unlimited front-wheel drive. That car makes, what, north of 400 horsepower or something thereabouts?
Yeah. I think like 420.
That's about the most fun you can have in the smallest square footage, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I mean, this thing looks like you'd tip over if you leaned on it too hard.
Yeah, they're paddocked right next to us, and there's a constant stream of people coming to check it out.
This is
when it's parked.
You know, a lot of these cars, like Jackie Ding's Supra, so beautiful and so well thought out. But you put this next to it, and it's like the Jeremy Clarkson meme.
Right.
You know, this is brilliant, but I like this.
Right, because it's so unique.
It's just so
strange.
cool.
That's one of the things that drew me to Time Attack originally, was just a huge amount of variety.
So much variety, and that's Time Attack in general, right? I mean, even within a specific class, right? There's so much that you can build into a street mod car or a street car or street GT. There's a lot of openings in the rules, but to get at the pointy end of the rules is a lot of engineering, fabrication, time, research, development, and there's full-on workshops and garages that build Time Attack cars. There's guys that just have a garage, their home garage, and their wife doesn't want them spending the money on the car, and they do anyway. And that's what I love about grid life in general. That's across the board, but Time Attack specifically, a real builder sport.
Absolutely.
There's the 246 car. That, again, is the TTRS. And forgive me for not remembering the name off the top of my head. That's Josh Tenji, unlimited all-wheel drive. His best, a 103.661. And I don't know if he's laid down a time just yet. I don't think he has. Across the line this time, that would put him on the board, in theory. But I have not seen him, so he might just be starting a flyer. Looks like Charles Miller is out on track as well, the number 55. In the street all-wheel drive category in his Evo 9, a 103.402 is his time to beat. And what did I just say, a 104.402? He just ran a 104.315. So that is a little bit quicker for Charles Miller.
Still a long ways to go to take that top podium spot, though. Adam Wood throwing down a record-setting 102.5 earlier today. What a blistering time in street class. So Charles definitely has his work cut out for him.
Yeah, see that cone right at the exit of turn 4 there. That wouldn't be very fun to run over, especially in any car that's got, low-hanging aero devices, but everyone navigating around it pretty well for now. I always like the look of these Evo 9s.
Yeah.
Really good-looking cars. Very. As we roll through turn number 9 and climb up onto the front straightaway, all-wheel drive, clawing that car up onto the banking. We'll see if he can go quicker than a 103.947, which he ran last time by. That's actually what he just ran. And there is Ben Thorne back out on track again. Ben Thorne, a 104.230. And that is no improvement. He's still working on it. There is something caught on the nose of that
Looks
car.
like a plastic bag almost.
Here's the 2 of Ryan Dussik's. An unlimited all-wheel drive, a 103.1 is his best lap of the session, but his best of the day, a 102.2.
There, our street class leader, Adam Wood.
Has about a half a second to go to beat his own time of a 102.5.
Resetting our street class record this weekend, though.
We've had a couple records fall this weekend, and I think, looking at the weather coming in, I don't think we really expected that. We were expecting it to be super hot and have a real challenge, but we keep raising the bar every time. And also the weather is cooperating at times of need, but there's Mike Omick again letting by Dussik's on the entrance to turn 3.
Good to see him back out again.
I just wonder if all-wheel drive is a detriment in this infield section here. What do you think? Is all-wheel drive?
I mean, they seem to be navigating it pretty well. I think, low-speed corners, having traction is important to claw out of, you know, and being able to put the power down earlier gives you more speed coming out.
I just always wonder if lugging around all the extra drive line, whoa, see right there as he jumps up on top of the curbing. Nicely composed, though. And up onto the front straightaway, Dussik's again has 102.432.
Looks like he's pulling into pits there, I believe.
Will give up. He was just 2/10 shy of his best. And there again is Ben Thorne, a 103.5 that he just ran. That's getting closer. That's only about 200ths off of where he needs to beat his own time.
He was really looking for that 102. I know he's been talking with Tomo between sessions, trying to find that last little bit of time. So,
well, we'll see if he can claw out of it, out of turn 9. The Valvoline livery, this is new for this weekend. Certainly a great-looking car.
Really cool.
And see a safety truck roll on the pit lane there, so it might be trying to run out and go get Alex Moss potentially. Ben Thorne, no improvement that time through. Ran a 103.725. That was about 3/10 slower than he needs to be rolling. Big old Mustang. That's the 218.
Supercharged track mod car.
Yeah, Matthew Thompson. 103.2, his best of the session.
My local firefighter.
Oh really?
Tom, yeah, or Matt there, he's my local firefighter.
Mike Coons just went quicker, the 310 in the street all-wheel drive, a 102.471. And that, I believe, is his best of the weekend, and indeed it is. So he will jump up in street all-wheel drive, well, at least best his own time.
Oh, look at that, another person in front of Charles Miller.
Yeah, and I guess also Adam Wood in street all-wheel drive just up the road, who has a 102.5. Or had a 102.5, so it looks
a
like
102.4. I think that's a class record.
That would put him on top, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. Look at that. Holy cow. Street cars really flying here this weekend.
They really are. I find this track really interesting because it's so short. You know, a lot of the lap times are really condensed, right? At a track like Road America, the difference between, you know, an unlimited car and a street car would be astronomical. But here it's only a handful of seconds, so you really get people fighting tooth and nail for those last couple tenths.
Yeah, you put the outliers out, like Ferris, you know, and the rest of them, I mean, it's in a really small amount of time.
Yeah. I guess Khartoumi is always an outlier.
Yeah, exactly.
Whether he's racing other competitors in Unlimited or racing the space shuttle to the moon, I think it's still an unfair fight. But I see the fist out the window for the 207, so he's going to come hit pit lane. As we're pretty deep into the Group A session here, so I imagine the last couple stragglers would try to run a couple times. There's a Corvette out there. Is that the yellow Corvette? Is that
our street GT car?
Yeah, Micah Ivanitz.
Very fast time. I think he's first, maybe second in class. So I know I talked to him a little bit earlier. He was really, really hoping to find that last little bit of time.
And I do consider myself a refined Valley dude.
Stream guys having fun here. There is another Subaru. Wow, there's some dramas happening behind the scenes here. So the 310 car, that's Mike Coons, who we were just mentioning a minute ago, who had just jumped to the top of the street all-wheel drive category. There he is in the Subaru STI, the hatchback version.
Yeah, my preferred body style.
I agree. It's my favorite as well. I mean, unless you look back a couple generations back.
I mean, of that particular generation.
Sure. Yes. I actually prefer this to the newer ones as well.
Yeah, as well.
I'm sure that's not an unpopular opinion necessarily, but quicker still, a 102.1. That resets a street class all-wheel drive record again.
That is incredible.
So the track conditions, very ideal. Well,
camera smasher.
They're looking right at him now. Well, we're getting a real good look at his glasses. Gotta wipe those off, a little dirt here, bud. I don't know how you can see out of those things. And looking at the entrance to the banking, there's Ben Thorne still out there running laps, and I'm glad to see Ben doing that and getting more seat time around here. He's still trying to improve. 103.5 is still as quick as he's gone this session. And there again is the 218. Corey Ross, I think, just went a little quicker. Indeed, he did in track mod. 102.736 for the 437. A lot of numbers.
I talked to him a little bit earlier. He said that his data says he's got a high 101 in there, and that's where he really wants to be. So
I know
getting really close to it.
In sim racing, like iRacing, for example, there's what they would consider an optimal lap time, where it takes the best moment of every one of your laps and combines them together for a theoretical best, right? So if it says you can get a 101, that's on the table. You just got to figure out how to be perfect everywhere.
Right.
But often there's a trade-off, right? If you charge a corner to gain a little bit on entry, you're going to lose a little bit on exit. To maximize everything is really where the great drivers and the great builds sort of come together. Little lateral slide for the 218 on corner exit. Matt Thompson going after it. And rolling through turn number 4 now. Another big slide on the power. He's just having fun now, I think.
Yeah. He has a slight improvement on his previous best time, so maybe he's feeling pretty good about that and just enjoying himself now.
Yeah, I think, you know, sideways is fun, but sideways isn't always fast necessarily. But we'll see. If, I mean, I'm curious to see what his lap time is. So his best is a 102.7, so as he comes across the line, that time through a 103.3. So half a second, probably worth a little fun for some slides.
Previously, best time in other sessions was a 102.9, so a few tenths improvement this session.
Yeah. I think the track temperature falling is really helping. And it's, we talk about track temperature a lot. These tires really can be sensitive to the temperatures, because when you go out on the track and you're scraping them all over the pavement, all that friction is going to add up to a lot of heat. If the track surface is already 150 degrees, you're just going to be melting rubber at that point. But if you step the track temperature down, you get longer before those tires begin to overheat when you're pushing them to the limit. So certainly helping. There's really a sweet spot in tire temperature where you want to be. And I think right now it's almost ideal. I think maybe you want a little cooler. But.
One of the unique things about time attack is compared to wheel is that you're always chasing somebody else's record or your own record potentially. But if that, everything has to be perfect to get those records. And if somebody else was here on a different day with better weather conditions, it's a good chance they're going to have the upper hand. So it does seem like we talk about weather and track temperatures and stuff like that a lot during time attack, but it plays a huge part into the times we're going to see.
Having a look at the spectators here at Pikes Peak International Raceway as we are checkering Group A here in time attack. Again, Ferris Khartoumi at the top of the board in unlimited track mod. Well, technically track mod. He's out there classified as both at the moment.
Yeah, I think still probably in the unlimited.
I would make that guess as well. There's Cash Singh. Didn't really mention him a whole lot, but he did go out and he ran a 105.1. This car, I think it ran sub 1 minute today, didn't it? I'm pretty sure it ran sub 1 minute in the earlier sessions. Nope, not quite. A 103.364. That's a cool looking car.
It's a beautiful car. I took some time to look at it in the paddock earlier this weekend.
Looks a lot like the GT4 spec, like the the IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge.
Yeah.
That sort of car.
Yep.
Built very similar. I wouldn't be surprised if it shares components and panels with something like that.
I mean, if you have a car that the factory developed at that level, you would almost be dumb not to.
Right.
Yeah. Take a page out of their book. They've spent a lot more money than you can figuring these things out.
Yes. Well, have a look at the spectators here on the rail at Alpine Horizon. A whole bunch of people here. We got a great music lineup for tonight, and we've sold this event out, which is really exciting. We're
so crazy.
We're back to our full Music and Motorsports Festival. This is the third year of Alpine Horizon, but this is probably the best one yet, I'd say, based on the spectators and the action so far. The weather has been spotty, but mostly cooperative so far, albeit a little bit windy, but everyone's been having a pretty good time.
I'll take a little wind over, severe rain.
The good vibes from Chris Stewart on the center of your screen. Chris is running around making sure that everyone's got those good vibes. That's the whole idea, right? I mean, it wouldn't be GRIDLIFE if everyone was mad, right? I mean, that's not the idea, right? Is, festival environments are, there's a lot of people, a lot of chaos out there. But I was down last night watching the Night Shift Drift, which we will have live for you later this evening. I was down there on the wall, kind of talking with everybody, and everyone was having such a good time and just relaxing and chilling. So that was really great to see.
We were watching that yesterday. I had my 5-year-old son with me, and you could tell he had quite a day. He passed out on my shoulder during the drift session.
Man, that's hard to do. I mean, look, I like the ambient sounds of racetracks.
Sure.
But drift is like the most visceral sounding and looking thing that is on planet Earth that involves vehicles. I got a chance to ride with Chris Forsberg last year, and they put a GoPro like facing me, and they mic'd me up, and I think the audio is just me screaming the entire time. And it takes a lot. Like I've been in a reasonably fast cars.
Right.
I'm usually a pretty good passenger. I don't usually talk very much. I sit there and hold on and freak out. But man, the drift ride was something else entirely.
What track was that at?
It was here.
Oh, here.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Riding with a really talented drift driver is a whole different world.
It really, I mean, going sideways at 70 feels like you're going forward at 180. It's just the sensations that you're feeling are just coming from the wrong directions, and it just makes no sense. Especially when you look out the driver or the passenger side window, and there's a Corvette like sliding sideways next to you, like you could reach out and touch it.
Yeah.
And then you look out the other side, and Forsberg has 3 inches to the concrete on his side. And there's lasers and smoke, and you can't see where you're going, and it's a pretty wild experience. So if anybody has the opportunity to get a ride in a drift car, do it, because you won't regret it.
Yeah.
Jump in a grip car with an advanced HPDE driver and really understand the limits of what cars can do. And we were talking yesterday about even cars like, you know, Fits and Fiestas
Yeah.
and that sort of thing. If you just own one and drive it on the street, I don't think anybody knows what they're really capable of.
No, you'll never understand what your car can actually, like, even the most mundane car is surprisingly capable in the right hands.
Yeah, and with the right tires, put some Falken RT660s on them and go sailing off into the banking here at Alpine Horizon. And we were talking earlier. Oh, I have an update for those that are interested in GLTC. So I was floating around earlier, and I heard a little birdie tell me that tomorrow morning, we will not have a stream tomorrow, just to be very clear.
Yeah.
There will be, however, a GLTC race on the oval.
I was wondering if I saw the text message, and I was kind of wondering if that's what that meant.
That's what that meant. All the drivers petitioned for it.
Really? That's kind of surprising to me.
It surprised me, too, because I was one of the ones kind of pushing for the shootout to happen on the oval last year. And all the drivers were like, nah, no thanks. And this year, it's a slightly different group of drivers, and they're all for it. So what we're going to do, we're going to try to climb up on top of the grandstands for you with our Moth crew, and we're going to try to video it, and I'll be up there announcing it live. And then what we're going to do is we're going to clip it down, and if it's good, we're going to put it on YouTube. If it's not good, you're never going to know about it.
Well, fair enough.
Because we don't know. I mean, these cars only have 200 horsepower, so I can't imagine it's going to be like watching a cup race around here. But
it could be interesting.
It could be interesting.
I mean, it takes a lot of the how those cars build speed differently out of the equation.
Right. I mean, I think also for most cars it'll be essentially full throttle, and now you're just going to be experimenting with your line and the slipstream.
Drafting, which is a thing they probably don't get a whole lot of.
Yeah, I mean, so there was some discussion, you know, when I was down in the GLTC paddock chatting about draft, which isn't really something that is ever really talked about in time attack, because generally you don't want it because you don't want people in your way.
Exactly.
But it can help you a couple miles an hour. And earlier, Tiffany Kelly, actually, if you want to bring the camera back to the booth here for a second, I'm going to make a measurement here with my fingers.
Yeah.
Tiffany Kelly pulled off a gurney flap off of the spoiler. So if for those at home that don't know, a gurney flap is on the rear wing of a race car. A gurney flap is a tiny little lip at the trailing edge of that wing that essentially adds downforce but also a little bit of drag. So she removed that off of her car, and I'm telling you, it's not even a centimeter tall.
Yeah.
And she gained 1.5 miles an hour on the back straightaway. So even that little change can be significant.
Club TR competitor Ryan Seiler, he had a gurney flap on the back of his 9 Lives Racing wing, and that's about 1/2 inch in height. And he pulled that off because the car was pushing really badly. Just that little bit of change, and that the aero balance in that car is completely different. Now the car has much better front end grip. I think he maybe gained a little bit of speed in the straightaways too, and it's amazing because that's a 1/2 inch piece of metal that just slides in and out of a channel on the back of that wing. It took us 30 seconds to remove it.
And again, that just goes to show you at high speed, and some would argue even at lower speeds, you know, any little bit. There are cars like this, for example. Toyota and Subaru are known for putting little tiny little blips on the edge of their mirrors to increase fuel economy. And trust me, we were mentioning earlier, when manufacturers do their research, they have a lot more money than we do to figure out if that's actually effective, and they think it is, so they put it on the car.
Wind tunnel testing time and real world testing that we just can't even grasp.
Right. All right, Group B, time attack up now. Jeremy Bailey, Ryan Seiler. Looks like Trey Tyler. Cal Fortner is out in the Cal's Auto Body number 14.
Probably one of the louder cars here.
Yeah, that car is exhaust. Ever since Blackhawk, I think they did something different with the exhaust. Tore it off, I think.
So I think they did something to pass NCM.
Whoa, that's a big moment off into turn number 3. That was the yellow BRZ that was trying to pass. I think that was Dustin Williams, and went off big time on the entrance to turn 3, and that was a scary moment, but they got it gathered back up. Big speed differential. Car on a hot lap versus 1 warming up there.
Well, Slumdog, the Kendall Samuels Subaru. Pretty excited to see him moving up. He was a late arrival this weekend, so he's had to work his way from the bottom of Group C up into a session where the cars are more similar pace to him. One of the wilder looking unlimited cars we have here this weekend.
Kind of cool looking. I really dig. I like these wings are very like hill climb style.
Yes, absolutely.
Looks really neat. Got scaffolding holding it up on the tail.
I love the Van Halen theme wrap too.
Yeah, it looks great across the line. There's Cal Fortner. in
supercharged Audi S4.
Yeah, it's a good-looking car. Super loud too. I was joking with them at Blackhawk Farms that it's the same volume 5 feet away as it is, half a mile away.
Yeah.
It certainly has the presence as a GTLM car would at any sort of IMSA event. And there is the 234 car of Brad Riemann, who we followed closely at Autobahn with the HP Tuners Track Addict app, just to kind of follow his progress. And he's a driver that likes to run a lot of laps and really get a lot of experience.
I mean, why not? If the car holds up to it, just as well use them all.
We'll also keep an eye in the session for Jackson Jensen. So if you were just watching GLTC, Jackson Jensen is Eric Jensen's son. Jackson runs in Club TR in an S2000. Eric runs in GLTC in an FRS. And Jackson, I think, was third in Club TR behind Ryan Seiler. Jackson's time of 105.486 is just shy of Seiler's 104.794.
Oh, Ryan moving into first in Club TR, beating Ben Thorne's 103.4 with a 103.221.
All right.
So that is going to make him probably the happiest person on the property this weekend. He has been chasing Ben all year, and I know that that's going to make him extremely happy.
Yeah, and how many more time attack sessions do we have? Not a lot, right?
Is this our last one today?
Let me check the schedule. It's definitely our last one today.
We have one tomorrow. Just one tomorrow.
So that's it. That's all they're going to have. That's all Ben Thorne will have to take the lead back in Club TR. So Seiler jumps up to the top. There is the 669 of Austin Shipley in the Toyota Supra. We had our 2021 Toyota GR Supra pacing the field in GLTC, and a handful of Supras here this weekend in Time Attack. Dalton Klein to the top of the board.
There's the times I've been looking for from him all weekend. That's much more in the realm of what I knew he was capable of. I know that car has a sub-minute lap time in it. If he can muster up the courage to put it together.
Well, he would need to beat Mike McGinnis's 58.1 in the GTR to go any quicker, and to beat to go on top of the standings. There's a 255 car. That is Ryan Seiler, who we were just talking about. And rear-wheel drive chassis versus Ben Thorne's front-wheel drive, so fundamentally very different, but very close in the timesheets right now, less than a 10th.
I can't tell you how excited that makes me to see him topping the time in Club TR.
Jeremy.
So maybe a little bit of friend bias there for me.
Yeah, we all have a little bit of that, I think. Jeremy Bailey, I think, just went quickest or quicker in street mod. Looks like that is a 103.753.
He's ran a 103.6 earlier this weekend, so not quite his best.
Handful of other cars. Peter Granberg,
his time though, a 103.8, his fastest of the weekend.
Yeah, and by almost a full second. That's 9/10 quicker. There's Dalton Klein again. Front splitter looking a little bit bowed. Was that like that earlier?
Yeah, we know that it needs some reinforcement. He needs to talk to the boys over at Pro Awesome and get some.
So is that because he's been nailing curbs, or is that just because it folds up under air pressure?
Well, I think it doesn't have a ton of reinforcement, and you can stand on it and it seems strong enough, but at the speeds that car's capable of making, maybe that's not enough.
Yeah, car's also got what I would consider considerable ride height.
Yeah, he's running much smaller, or a inch shorter tire and wheel and tire package than he has in years past. So we may have to change the ride height on that car a little bit.
Here is another one of the Subarus. That's a 461, I believe. That is Luca Caffiero. In street mod, best time of the weekend, a 105.724. So just shy of that. Dustin Williams in the 595 puts down a time of a 106.5. And we chatted yesterday about how that car is technically, by the rules, a track mod car, but is more closely aligned with the Club TR rule set. Just the
tire rule.
Yeah, that's what makes that car illegal for Club TR. But
gotta have those Falken
RT660s. 660s. A lot of 6 and 60s. And there's a 976.
Wesley Case.
Yeah.
I talked to him a little bit earlier today. You know, we had talked earlier that he's just kind of working on car and driver development for a move to GLTC. And I told him, you know, his times that he's putting down here would make him reasonably competitive mid-pack in GLTC. And so I told him I expect him to be there at Heartland Park at our next event that he will be attending. If I see him in Time Attack, I'm going to be disappointed, is what I told him.
Well, yeah, again, we've got Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course coming up in about 2 weeks' time. Then Heartland, GridLife Heartlands in Topeka, Kansas is at the tail end of August. Tickets are still available for that event in, I believe, all categories. So make sure you head to grid.life to get yourself.
That is the event I'm looking forward to the most.
Really?
It's in my backyard.
Okay.
It's the closest for me. And so we're going to have a big group of buddies there. I'm very excited for it.
Well, that's going to be a good event, but make sure that if you're interested in joining us and you're near or around Topeka, Kansas, I drove 16 and a half hours to come to Pikes Peak. Y'all better drive a couple hours to get to Topeka.
Kansas City's a big place. I know there's a lot of cars there.
So 8.5 minutes into Group B here. Dalton Klein, Ryan Seiler at the top. Klein went quicker, 102 flat that time.
There we go.
He's wrenching it down. And look at Peter Granberg running a real high. Looks like Cody Smith is also out there in the Oldsmobile Cutlass. And is that a BRZ? I want to know who this is. The silver BRZ, 396. That is Tyler Starr. Now, I could be wrong about this, and I might have to check my own data for this. But I think Tyler Starr attempted to run in GLTC at COTA in a CRX.
Okay.
But there could be more than one Tyler Starr on planet Earth, so I'm going to check that.
It's hard to say. That car's got a lot of work done to it. A lot of body modifications, at least. Track mod car this weekend.
Yeah, and being an owner of that chassis, I'm pretty familiar with, they're very capable cars, and yes, from factory, they're not exactly a rocket ship, especially at altitude, but the chassis, a lot of journalists and drivers alike will basically tell you that this chassis and this steering is some of the best you're going to get sub 70 grand, and, as a value proposition for, $15,000 to $20,000 sports car in the used market,
yeah,
they're really good to pick up for a time attack category. In Club TR, they would drop right in there with a couple modifications.
We've seen K-Swapped one competed pretty successfully earlier this year in a couple of events with Dana Baczynski.
I do
coming
believe
out of the ASM camp.
I do believe that is the same Tyler Starr that was at COTA, because they're from Justin, Texas, and it's a 2013 Scion FRS that is listed in that track mod car. So interesting choice to swap from a CRX in GLTC, which was not exactly a rocket ship, to a track mod car, which is significantly quicker.
Yeah.
Brad Riemann out on track as well, and we haven't followed him a ton this session, but a 105.333. That's just shy of his best of the weekend, a 105.28. Clouds have come over and haven't gone away, and that's a good thing for time attack drivers, right?
Away, though.
I think it did too, and I think that's a good thing for the overall pace of these cars.
Absolutely.
Peter Granberg, a 103.853. Was that another pickup from him? No, I think that was what he had already just run. Tyler Starr goes quicker again, a 104.552.
Not his best this session, though.
Correct.
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong spots.
Well, best of his session, I don't think it's the best. Oh, no, it is the best of his weekend so far, actually. A 104.552. Cal Fortner in Street Mod at 104.611. There's the BRZ that we saw off earlier. Is that the 108 car, I believe? Daniel Walker.
Looked like it was really moving into that braking zone.
Well, at least he's on the pavement this time. No obstructions in the way, at the very least. And Seiler going back out for seconds. So he would need to beat a 103.221, but at this point, he's just besting his,
Well, I'm sure that Ryan's not one to sit back and rest on his laurels. I'm sure he would love to put more time between him and Ben Thorne just to be safe.
Well, I think that's, for only being a 10th up from Ben Thorne, that's within, the margin of one tiny slip on a curb.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
You better get some more time as a buffer. So we'll wait and see what he does when he comes back around. The drone cam. Usually the camera's on the drone this time. Is that carrying a can of Coke or a beer? What is that?
It's safe to assume that it's probably not a Coke.
It's one of our, probably not. It looked red, but I think it's just held on by red tape. We got to rotate that around, Matt. I got to get a good look at this. What is on piggybacking this thing here?
Cold brew air delivery.
Oh, man. Can you deliver it inside, please? Fly through a window?
I'm pretty sure they could.
I can't. I can't read the label on it, but that's man, that's funny. That's just the most random thing I've seen all day, actually. Just for the heck of it.
Welcome to Grid Life.
Oh man, even the stream crew getting after it, having some fun. Tail end of the session here, so you're not missing much out on the track. We're just Ryan Seiler did just come through, but not going quicker at this point, cooling on down. There goes the drone dropping out of the sky. Well, didn't get
cameraman receiving his delivery.
Well, didn't get hand delivered to me, but I think the cameraman's about to have a nice cold one. Man, this is the future. This is Jeffrey Bezos's.
Yeah, I mean, this is
dream.
Amazon in the making, is it not?
I mean, now if they could do this with a 12-pack, now we're talking.
I don't know what kind of weight those can carry.
Matt's probably got a drone that can carry that.
Yeah?
I'm sure. Matt's got licenses and insurance for, I think, carrying aircraft carriers on drones. So, I don't know. There he goes, taking a drink, taking a sip. Thumbs up from our buddy down there. Man, that's great.
Oh, no.
I'm jealous. Seiler again getting after. Ooh, big slide. Big moment there.
Getting up on those curbs.
Now, I think he's on a hot lap now because he was cooling down the previous lap. There's the Alpha 4C back out for more. That's Corey Konachuk again in street rear-wheel drive. So Seiler accelerating back up onto the front straightaway. Across the line for him. No improvement. Oh, I didn't get my timing didn't update, so I'm not sure. 103.221 is what he had run previously, so no improvement. And there's Brad Riemann. A little bit of understeer out of that Focus RS. Oh, big jump over. Got some grass there on the apex. Here are the tires sliding. Dalton Klein back out for more. Trying to go sub 102 in the final moments of Group B.
We've been giving him a lot of hell this weekend because he spent a lot of money to go slower.
I mean, I think a lot of guys do that.
Yeah.
That's why I'm afraid to touch my car, because I feel like anytime I touch it, I'm going to make it less reliable and slower.
Fact of the matter is that usually the thing that's keeping you, or slowing you down the most is probably you.
That's probably right. Before you start tightening any bolts, you got to fix the nut behind the wheel, right?
Absolutely.
Austin Shipley went quicker on the 669 Supra, 105.263. And I think for Shipley, no, that's just shy of the best that he's run. He ran a 105 flat. Seiler across the line again, still in the bottom half of the 110s, so not really improving on any times here.
Tried to give him the point by there, but he didn't take it.
Yep. Well, in the closing moments of Group B, we had a couple records drop, a couple positions shuffled, so that was a really interesting session.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see if Group C will have some more of the same.
Move Ryan Seiler into Group A for the next, for tomorrow's session. So.
Well, I like that because, we're not going to have that on the live stream, but you can follow along on racehero.io to keep up with all of that. And that's going to be especially interesting because Ben Thorne and Ryan Seiler will share the same session, so they'll be on the track at the same time.
That sort of situation always seems to help pace. You know, based on how close their times are together, they'll probably be gridded right next to each other, which means that Ben will be literally chasing Ryan. And that seems to help a lot of times both drivers in that situation. So it could be really interesting to watch tomorrow morning.
So checkered flag is out here for Group B. And while we got a couple minutes before we get into Group C, I wanted to talk a little bit about FCP Euro and some of our partners, Toyota and Valvoline, and a lot of people and partners that have made this happen here this weekend. FCP Euro sent me a nice sheet of information, and I wanted to shout out a couple names and people. Michael Essa's here with his drift car. He's a 2013 Formula D champion, so he's got his car down there. He's been doing some skids this weekend. Ben Morowski, who is the FCP Euro digital content manager, is here as well. If you've seen the Porsche Cayenne project car down in the paddock this weekend, that is Ben's. Ben also competed at Gingerman Raceway's spring kickoff in a Mini Cooper in GLTC. That car had an engine expire. He's working on it, trying to get it built back up for Mid-Ohio.
That was a car I was really excited to see there.
I was excited to see it too, and Ben's real upbeat about it and going to get it put back together. Very excited. Talked extensively with Nathan Brown this weekend, the FCP Euro event director. Great guy. He actually announced with me at spring kickoff, so glad to see Nathan back. Mike Herzen is here, the FCP Euro brand director and driver of the number 11 AMG GT4. Again, if you're not familiar, FCP Euro has a race team. They race over the IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge in the GT4 category, and they found some success. Tough weekend at Watkins Glen a couple weeks ago, but as with all pro racing, it's very cyclical, Adam, so I'm sure they're going to find their way to the top pretty shortly.
They just stepped into that GT4 program this year, didn't they?
The brand new. Their first event was a couple of months ago. I think they plan to run 3 or 4 more events towards the tail end of the year. And I think one of those rounds may or may not be Laguna Seca. I know they were talking about which ones they were planning on doing, but building that program, you might remember them from running in World Challenge. They had a couple TCR Volkswagens.
Cars.
And when Volkswagen moved away from supporting the GT or the TCR program, they switched over to the Mercedes AMGs, and those are great-looking cars.
What
if you
a cool
haven't
car.
seen them. They're so cool.
Yeah.
For sure. And, of course, Jade Roy Huntington, the FCP Euro social media manager, always a great guy to talk to. He's down there as well, giving fist bumps and high fives. If you see him, say hi for me. And Dennis Ivanov is down there, the FCP Euro VP of Software Development, is here this weekend. They got the whole crew down at their FCP Euro tent. They're giving away sunglasses and some other cool things. I've got a pair of them somewhere around here. I haven't had to use them much today.
Yeah.
But FCP Euro, if you don't know who they are, they're an online retailer of OEM genuine parts for European cars. If you've got a BMW, Audi, Volkswagen, Mercedes, Volvo, Porsche, etc., they've probably got parts that you want. And Adam, they've got a lifetime guarantee.
Yeah.
I'm not saying this is like sponsor read, man. They have a lifetime guarantee for literally everything you buy, including consumables. You get brake pads from FCP Euro, you burn them up, you send them back, get a new one with your receipt.
Years ago, I owned an Audi, and this was, I think, before FCP Euro was a thing. I really wish they would have been around. If anybody's got a European car, they need to be checking them out.
I don't think there's any way that you shouldn't go to FCP Euro for European car parts. I should also mention that Nick Swan, who has a beautiful red-wrapped BMW, he road-tripped out here all the way from Richmond, Virginia. When he got here, he realized his clutch and flywheel was on the way out. So FCP Euro overnighted him a clutch and flywheel all the way from Connecticut to get him put back together. I think they're going to have the ASM guys help him put that in the car so he can drive home on Monday. But that's FCP Euro, again, their lifetime guarantee. Now, if that clutch ever goes out again, he'll just send it back with the receipt and get a brand new one.
GRIDLIFE Buddies supporting GRIDLIFE Buddies.
I love that. And they're here and present this weekend. We want to give them a big shout out. So thanks again to FCP Euro. They're based out of Milford, Connecticut, and they sell directly to customers worldwide, so check them out at their website. Thanks again to those guys. Back to Time Attack Group C now. Time's going up on the board.
Seeing lots of spec fits out there this weekend.
Spec fits are
Sunday
great.
Cup cars. I talked with a few of their drivers earlier. James Morgan, hoping to repeat a win from Autobahn here this weekend, but not being successful thus far. And I told him, I don't want to hear any excuses. It's checkers or wreckers. So
All
get
right.
out there. He said he's been trying to use all the curbing, but he drove the car out here. He needs to drive it home. He said he was bottoming out the frame on the curbing, taking it so hard. And I told him that sounds like a self-clearancing issue. Just keep going.
Just keep
for it.
banging the frame on the ground until it bends itself into submission.
I also told him I have a spare seat in my minivan. I can get him most of the way home.
Uh-oh, this is Kieran O'Callahan.
Yeah.
And that windshield is definitely broken, and that hood is definitely unlatched. And that's a problem.
Yeah.
If I've ever seen one.
A surprisingly common problem, actually.
We saw this same thing happen at Honda Meet a couple weeks ago, too. Whoops.
Yeah.
That's always, this is a frustrating one because it's either one of two things. Either your latch is broke or you just forgot to latch
or
it.
you flat out messed up.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I think it's more often the latter of the two options.
Usually is. So I'm hoping that that windshield can get replaced because especially if you drove the car out here, that's not going to be fun or probably road legal to drive back. So are windshields required?
I think windshields, the chop top guys say that windshields are not required.
Yeah, I think the chop top guys will say whatever they think they need to say.
There are some states that say windshield wipers are required to be street legal. And so if you look at some of those chop top challenge cars, they'll still have the windshield wipers there.
I mean,
we joke that we should weld. I have a friend that has a chop top, and we joke that we should weld the windshield wipers so that it stays in place and so he can still use them to wipe his imaginary windshield.
That would be entertaining, to say the least. All right, cars on the track. TGA Performance in the 317 in street all-wheel drive, a 107.039. That 317 car. Let's see, is that as fast as they've gone? The 107.533 was their best. So, yes, that is a new quick lap for them in that street all-wheel drive WRX. Jeffrey Tattershall in the Club TR, number 423. That is the, I think that's the Civic we were just looking at, was it not? Yes, oh, CRX that we were seeing a little earlier.
We have a black flag flying right now, probably
for
the
the 7-Eleven for sure.
Yeah, so probably pulling these guys into the pits, clearing that out, unfortunately.
Yep, and this will take away time from the session. We'll get a couple more minutes before we move on to our penultimate stream of the day. Again, we're going to have, right after this, we'll have Drift, Paco Ibarra and Jared DeAnda joining you for that one. Then we'll have Night Shift Drift, where those two will come back to show you all the sights and sounds of grid life, nightlife here at Alpine Horizon. So very excited for that one. And also, we talked about FCP Euro a little bit. I want to talk about Toyota, big partner with us this weekend. Toyota brought out a whole bunch of vehicles for us to play with. Did you see their whole setup? They brought like 3 Supras, 3 Siennas.
There's the prototype
86.
86 is down there.
Which I'm not sure if
I'm sure you've been eyeballing.
I was eyeball. I drove my car up next to it and was taking pictures because I was curious about sizing and scaling, because the new one looked a little taller.
Yeah.
And I drove up next to it, and it looks taller, but it's actually shorter.
Really?
Because the car itself is shorter, and because of the way the front is designed, it just makes it look taller. But in reality, the roof line is just a smidge below mine. And I'm on totally stock suspension.
Right,
so.
right.
But fascinating. I think the new car will be far better.
It's a really good-looking car.
It does look good, and there has been some discussion about whether or not it's an improvement over the previous generation styling, and I think it looks better than the original FRS, I'd probably say.
Okay.
The later revisions of the 86 and BRZ, I would probably say, are a little nicer looking, but it depends on who you are.
Yeah,
and what you prefer.
that's all subjective.
Sure. But I think it'll be a far better car. 30 more horsepower, give or take. 60% stiffer chassis or something like that.
That's a pretty sizable jump.
It's a very sizable jump, for sure.
Even the power bump is, that's like the #1 complaint with people that I don't even know is necessarily, a real one. But.
From purchasing an FRS, I can speak pretty directly about the power drop. It has a big torque dip from 3,500 up to about $5,000, and it's not a fast car. It's not as bad as people make it out to be.
Right.
I think it's getting compared to cars that make power in completely different ways. But the difference is the new car makes 30 more horsepower and also makes it at like 3,000 RPM versus the old car's 7,000 or 6,800 or something. So you don't have to work as hard to get the power.
That's a big change.
So it'll be a pretty significant change. So the 86 is down there, the prototype Toyota 86 that is coming out. I don't know. I don't want to say it wrong, but it's this fall, I think. And we've got also the GR Supras down there that have been our pace cars for GLTC.
So many Supras this weekend.
A lot of Supras. Two GRs. There's also a Heritage Supra down there, which has this wicked-looking suspension in the rear window. And
oh, really?
Yeah.
I haven't noticed.
Down the rear window,
it's
got these crazy strut suspension
like an
back
inboard
there.
sort of thing.
Yeah.
It looks. Check that out. That sounds super cool.
Looks really cool. It's also got like kind of classically styled taillights with the the round inserts and everything. Really cool. They also brought some 4Runners and some Tacomas and some Tundras to do some off-roading on the Toyota off-road course here at Alpine Horizon, and they've just been a great partner. So shout out to Toyota, and they've just been crushing it this weekend with their appearance. I have to give a big shout out to Steve, who was working the Toyota booth here this weekend. Steve helped us out. We were one of the Siennas, the headlights got left on and the battery died. It was a hybrid. We were trying to figure out how to jump a hybrid because we don't know what the battery is.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So Steve from Toyota came over and helped us jump it because he has a Lexus CT, the hybrid little hatchback thing.
Yep.
And he helped us jump it, and then he gave me this little Scion battery pack, like a little jumper pack with some USBs and stuff on it. Steve, thumbs up. Thanks, buddy. So, man, good guy. All right, car's back on track now. We got about half the session left. There's the 317 car, the TGA Performance machine. This is the fastest they've gone all weekend in that WRX.
These guys got a little bit of an extra extended session in our last round, so it's unfortunate they had the black flag, but they've had plenty of track time previously, so they'll be all right.
Yeah, and I think You got to kind of maximize the time that you have. James Morgan, a 1:14. What is he shooting for?
I think they're down into the 12s. Yeah, 1:12 or 1:12.7 being our fastest.
The team Brap
time this weekend.
Yeah, so 1:12.7 is what James Morgan is aiming for. I haven't actually seen that car. Oh, there he is on track right now. So off. Oh no, that might not be James. Is it James? I don't know what wheels he's running. Those are red.
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
know
not sure.
what he's got. There's the 209 again.
One of my favorite people at any GRIDLIFE event.
James Morgan?
Got to get
what
a
great
James
guy.
Morgan hug every event.
James Morgan hugs are the best hugs. That guy
Absolute
is amazing. I love James. Everybody loves James.
Absolutely.
So glad to see him here. I wasn't even sure if he was coming, so I was very pleasantly surprised to run into him in the paddock.
He cannonballed down here practically. Slept in the car, in a rest area, did what he had to do to get here.
So. And now he's on track. All right, cross the line for TGA Performance. They'd have to beat. Oh, Dominic Tapia goes to the top of the board in the session, a 106.873. And for the 209, don't actually know. 873. That's a little slower than their best. TGA Performance does not go any quicker. Jeffrey Tattersall doesn't either. Matthew Overstreet did go quicker in Club TR in the 810, a 108.877. But that is not faster than his best time of the weekend, which is a 107.934.
Fiesta ST, a car we haven't seen much of in Club TR, but I think could be a very good car for it.
Fiesta ST, when they made that car, that was a way better car than I think it got credit for.
Yeah, I would disagree with that.
And there was a lot of people, because this car was out right around the time that the FRS BRZ came out. There was a lot of discussion about, affordable, fun cars, and this was in the same discussion as the widely popular 86 Twins platform. I mean, this car is far more practical. It's got, front-wheel drive and rear seat, like real rear seats. So if you're looking for a fun car that's, doesn't break the bank, that's a great option.
I have a special place in my heart for boosted cars too. So, despite the fact that they kind of made similar power, I think I'd be hard pressed not to choose the Fiesta.
Yeah, I think it makes power in a much more exciting way, right?
Yeah.
I mean, as we were mentioning,
boost is always fun.
Yeah, the Twins kind of fall on their face a little bit in the mid-rev range, but the Fiesta had a little spoolie boy right in the middle, so it makes you go a little quicker and it makes some cool sounds. So. Keep an eye on our buddy James Morgan. He did go quicker, but not quicker than his best, a 114.297. Juan Johnson in Club TR in the 142. We've seen him a couple times, a 111 or 108.401. About a half a second off his best.
Looks like even the Team Brap guys struggling to find the pace that they've had earlier this weekend. So
I'm surprised by that because everyone else seems like they're going faster.
Well, even in earlier sessions today, they just didn't seem to have that pace. I don't know what it was about yesterday for them, but they had something figured out.
So there's James Morgan. He's got the fog lights on the nose of the car and heading off into the kink onto the backstretch. This car, I think was Chris Stewart's for a little while, founder of GRIDLIFE, co-founder.
Yeah, I believe that's correct.
Lived in the GRIDLIFE warehouse for a handful of months while I was first working there.
I love the tape job on the front of that Sunday Cup car there. Finding anything you can to get that last little tenth.
Yep. James certainly getting after it, dropping a wheel at the exit of turns. Look at him hauling that thing around. I love the look of this car too. It's got a pretty aggressive look for a fit. And
the second gen fit I like a lot more.
I agree. I think it looks pretty sporty considering.
Yeah.
So he's certainly getting after it. Rolling through turn 9 now. You can see the tires just folding over on the sidewall as he comes out of the final corner, up through the gears again. And across the line, needs to beat, again, a 112. Actually, his best time previously was a 114.6. So James Morgan does a 114.5. That's his best of the weekend. Still not the quickest of Sunday Cup, though. Did our timing not update?
I don't think so, because his screen says 114.2.
Oh. 114.2. You're right. He did run that earlier in the session. He just ran a 114.5, so consistent at least. But I will say that he has improved over the last session at the very least.
Pretty big improvement. Well, not as big as I thought. A few tenths.
Yeah, couple tenths.
When he's got basically a few seconds to go.
Yeah.
So
there was a couple moments last year. I think it was at either Midwest or Spring Kickoff in 2020 where there was a handful of those spec fits out on track at the same time, chasing each other.
Yeah.
And man, I want a little spec fit little race. I want to get 20 of them out there and watch them go at it. I think it'd be great.
I wonder how far off. I mean, I suppose a BRZ makes way too much, or an FRS makes way too much power. I suppose you're well outside of the power to weight rules for the class.
Probably. I think, I actually thought about that because, you know, in theory, Club TR is a little bit of a reach for a stock power.
Yeah, you're kind of in the middle there, aren't you?
Yeah, but I think, you know, if you threw some weight in it, you could probably figure it out. I don't know.
Well, I know that those guys, you know, I'm in their group chat, and they're very open to doing what it takes to get more people.
Yeah.
So I have a car that kind of fits in there but would need weight and has a few modifications that may not be class legal.
I'm slow enough in the car that regardless of what engine was in it, I'd probably be, you know, in Sunday Cup territory regardless.
I have a feeling we're probably both in the same boat there.
Yeah. Checkered flag is out on, and finishing laps now will be the last couple drivers. Lucas Urban in the 369 runs a 109.402. And that is his best of the weekend in the Escort. Escort.
Strange car. We talked about that. Tomo and I talked about that for a while. Not a car you see on track a lot, but he really hustles that thing.
He sure does, and went quickest of his weekend so far. There's the 229 car.
Prelude.
Nice looking Prelude, actually. It comes across the line. Trying to find him on my timing sheet to see who that is. Who is that? Oh, it's Imormino. James Imormino. Straight front wheel drive does not improve. Checkered flag here on Group C. And that's going to do it for Time Attack here for the live stream this weekend. But some really solid action in this session.
I think this might have been the best weekend of Time Attack we've had this year.
Really solid.
Lots of records falling. Huge pace out of a lot of big names. Really an exciting weekend.
Wow, very exciting. We just saw an amazing GLTC race prior to this. We saw an amazing Time Attack session after. We've got Drift coming up for you next in just a couple of minutes. Paco Ibarra, and it'll be Jared DeAnda alongside him. Again, I'm Kyle Heyer with Adam Nielsen, and we're going to see you again. Actually, we both won't be at Mid-Ohio.
I don't think I'm going to make it to Mid-O.
Okay, so somebody else will be in our position at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. We will see you at Heartland, though.
Can't wait.
So I know you're very excited about that one. We've got a lot else coming up this season. Some more rounds left to do. We got Midwest, Road America, and some others as well. So Kyle Heyer alongside Adam Nielsen. I might pop in on some night shift later. So I might stick my head in the door with Paco and Jared later if they let me, but we'll see. I might go try to get myself a ride in a drift car too. I think that'd be kind of fun. But if I don't see you, thanks again for watching Grid Life Live here from Alpine Horizon at Pikes Peak International Raceway in Fountain, Colorado. Kyle Heyer out. We'll see you next time. Grid Life Time Attack is brought to you by Falken Tire. Falken Tires, competition-proven performance. 303 Performance, premium protectants and cleaners, exceeding expectations since 1980. STA-BIL, ready, willing, STA-BIL. MOMO, the official safety partner of GRIDLIFE. And by HP Tuners. HP Tuners, connect, read, edit, write, drive. Alpine Horizon is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. And by Airlift Performance. Airlift Performance lets you get low and live your life on air. Check out all their newest products, including Builder Series shocks, threaded manifolds, and Flow Air Ride tanks at airliftperformance.com.
FCP Euro is here to help you keep your car on the trails, track, or tarmac after a weekend of thrashing at GRIDLIFE Alpine Horizon Festival. So from now until Saturday, July 31st, we're giving the GRIDLIFE friends and fam 10% off their first order at FCPeuro.com using the code Alpine at checkout. Thank you all for watching this weekend, and we hope to see you at the track next time around.
The Falken RT660 is the enthusiast choice for ultra-high performance. Engineered for predictable handling and stability, the RT660 provides maximum traction both on and off the track. Your competitive edge has arrived with the Falken RT660.
What about a pizza delivery?
Oh, okay.
Trash truck plows through the delivery bikes. Formula D driver is waiting for his pizza. Says he'll deliver them in his Supra.
How about Fast Freddy's Pizza?
Love that.
Okay, let's go.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Pikes Peak International Raceway, playing host to Alpine Horizon Festival. We are sold out, so guess what? Best place to be is be watching at the comfort of your own home or your office. I'm Jared Dienda and I'm joined by Taco Ibarra, 87 R's in his last name. It's amazing.
Adding up, huh?
It's like gremlins. You can't feed them after midnight, you can't get them wet, they just duplicate. So gremlins just keep coming and hopefully they don't show up on track, but just only in your name. Paco.
All right, well, thank you, Jared. We're ready to watch some drifting, so.
What is that voice?
That's your voice.
I was doing more of the announcer voice. Like, I'm really excited to be here with Paco Ibarra, watching this GRIDLIFE Alpine Horizon Festival.
I'm very excited as well, Jared. Thanks for doing the amazing intros as usual.
Standard issue. Hey, guess what? Droney's back. We got the drones are back in town.
I wonder if they survive or just bury the previous one.
Ooh, I think RIP. I don't know. But look, the fans are running. I don't know where they're running from, but we are seeing them. Looks like they're making their way to different sections where they can watch and get sprayed by shrapnel from the tires. Look at the tent city over there, baby.
Oh yeah. Imagine you're just like camping in nature in the middle of Colorado. You open up your tent. First thing you see is like tire sharp.
People love it, man. That's why they're out here. Yeah, and we are seeing an amazing group of drivers out here. Notably, you got Chris Forsberg, you got Ryan Turk, Vaughn Gittin Jr., you got Justin Pollock, you have that of Matt Field, Dai Yoshihara, TJ Hunt, Adam LZ. Who else am I missing?
I think everybody.
I mean, there's so many. Nick Gross, excited to see him out here. Speaking of the RTR boys, Chelsea Denofa, that's who I forgot. Of course, Chelsea Denofa and Vaughn Gittin Jr. Look at that, door-to-door, wheel-to-wheel. And they're joined out there by Cletus McFarland, who's driving Vaughn's Fox body. And Cletus is driving with no doors because he's going to try to stick a sticker to his car when he's driving.
I just saw that literally he blew up the doors out of his Fox body, but that's such a Cletus thing.
It is a Cletus thing, and you know, it's if you have the opportunity, the option to do it, take them out, baby.
Yeah, hopefully,
gotta let the boys breathe.
What's gonna be the next thing? Is gonna put a snorkel and try to go.
Yeah, go underwater like he does with his Hummers and Humvees. Dean Carnage Carney, that's another driver that I failed to mention. I mean, the list is so strong. I apologize. Michael Essa is here. Thank you, a former Formula Drift champion. So much talent here on track, and of course, you know, we got Pro-Am, Pro Spec drivers, Pro drivers. Speaking of them Falken tire boys, there they are. Matt Field out front. Dio Shihara. It's a Dio Shihara sandwich with that of JTP, Justin Pollock, in the chase position. George Karakapapapapoulos.
Setting up the smoke clouds for the Falken boys.
You know what?
Look at those transitions.
With the wind not blowing now, the smoke is really hovering.
Look at that. I mean,
she's thick.
It's like a Snoop fest in here.
It is. Rolling Loud is going down, but out here on track. So yeah, Snoop, Wiz, Cheech and Chong, all of them are in the building smoking it up. It's legal. It's legal here in Colorado.
And the Falken boys signing up to the smoke. Look at that.
Contributing.
All that Falken tire rubber.
All them Falken tires. It's always fun to say.
It's crazy when you see all the drift cars going up into the bank.
Yeah.
They just speed through the bank
shred
all around the oval.
Yeah, on that front straight.
Yeah, just to make it to the.
About to lose bumper.
Oh,
bumper exit stage left.
Just shaving it off, making it a little thinner.
No, yeah.
It's weight reduction, Jared.
That's right.
Michael Laurent and his Cressida, the Janki Soku drivers, followed by Kyrie Kids. It's a real Sylvia.
Yeah?
Yeah, straight from Japan.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for elaborating. And if you didn't say it in a broken Japanese accent, I wouldn't have known that it was from Japan. So I appreciate the.
Gotta make sure to get the reference correctly.
The hospitality.
On ISM.
Little ISL Tezza jammer.
Yep.
So again, stunts going down progressively throughout the weekend.
We have Alex Sanderson being sandwiched between a couple BMWs. Oh no, actually no, that's Matt Dale behind him.
Yep.
Alex Sanderson from Arizona and C6 Corvette.
Well, strong contingent here from Arizona. Matt Sopa out here and back to the Fusion, his Ford Fusion with the Fox body, not Fox body, excuse me, a Coyote. Sorry, I got my animals mixed up there. Foxes, animals, snakes, super snakes, cobras, vipers.
The Mustang itself.
The Mustang is a horse.
The horse.
Fact. Thank you for again elaborating on that. If you didn't say it in your broken Spanish English accent, I wouldn't have understood if Mustang was a horse.
My speech completely broken. Like, whatever it is, it's just
look.
wrong.
I'm broken inside, so it's okay. Josh Robinson,
here's to heal you.
What's that?
Here's here to heal you.
You're
broken.
Yep.
Josh Robinson's here to heal.
Oh wow. Okay.
Unbreak you.
Okay. Well, he is meant to last. Duralast.
The Roo from Down Under.
Duralast, is that? It's a battery company. I thought it was a stamina enhancer, make you last longer. Duralast batteries.
There you go.
Got it. Josh Robinson in that Duralast Eurofighter. And from what I understand,
Robo-Roo.
Yeah, Robo-Roo. And from what I understand, that you can't technically call it a Eurofighter unless it's built by HGK.
I mean, I thought it said I think it says Eurofighter on the car.
Okay. So there it is. We got a BC Racing custom coilover drift train. So there's Cletus McFarlane, that Fox body minus the doors.
Doorless.
The doorless wonder. And I did see Lauren Healy out there in his Bronco, his Ultra 4, brand new trucks. Just built. So yesterday had I don't know if you saw. Did you see Vaughn's photo? Dude, so sick.
Insane. Like I'm trying to just wonder what's in Cletus's mind right now, because he's an open face helmet driver. So now he's no door.
No doors.
It's like
no face.
Is he wearing shorts?
I don't think he's wearing any pants. I don't think he's wearing any bottom. He's going full Winnie the Pooh, as they say.
Donald ducking it.
Yep. Donald ducking it.
And look, there's Ryan Little on his back.
Like figuratively or
and literally.
Or literally. Oh, okay, got it. Oh, there it is.
There you go.
The boys are back in town.
And look at him go.
Yes, Ryan Little, that power stop, GT radials, Sylvia S15. Is he running your 2F stuff?
Yes, Super Goof S15. And look at that RB going, man.
Yep, he is back. And this is a big shakedown for him. He's been having some issues here and there and everywhere, but it's great to see him out here on course.
He's got a.
We get a close-up of I don't know which photographer that is, but oh no! And just like that, the announcer's curse strikes again.
Well, let's hope again it's just a belt or something. I think he's just there just to like show how pretty his car turned out.
That's what you call hard parking, my friend.
That factory 83 livery looks amazing on his car.
Yep, great looking car. And then you just get the nice little E30 jammers up.
Yeah.
And shock us here.
Nino Child and Gatsby Racing S14.5.
Okay.
Niner. Shock us out of the window.
Yep. The hang loose S14.5.
0.6. 0.9.
Point 11.
3.14.
3.95er. I've had some great driving just throughout the day. Just nice, consistent, fluid.
Everybody,
course.
all the pros have been on point.
Yeah.
You know, usually it's the pros that set the pace. But the pros have followed.
Pros and bros.
And they're just like, you know, going at it.
I just had an opportunity to meet Young Gravy.
Oh, really?
Not Old Gravy, Young Gravy. Contrary to popular belief, he does. He is young. He's tall.
Yeah.
Another tall gentleman.
Okay.
He's riding with Chris Forsberg in the Ultimania.
Awesome.
Yep. So
I'm very interested to listen to some of his tracks. Apparently, it's like some sort of like comedy trap.
Okay. Yeah, he's got a whole entourage, and they're all riding the Ultimania.
Nice.
Yeah. So definitely excited. Yeah, he's taller than me.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. My
You should
son
probably have like a tall off.
Another giraffe battle.
Yeah, between Sopa, Cletus, and John Gravy. See who's the tallest.
No, Robinson, Young Gravy. It's
that's
John.
right.
Is it Young or John Gravy?
I think it's like.
I think it's Kim Jong Un Gravy.
Gravy. Those gravies.
Yeah, those gravies.
Yeah. Isn't Dean Karen? He's kind of tall too.
Dean's tall. I mean, he's about my height, but I would say Josh Robinson and Cletus are awkwardly tall.
Awkwardly, uncomfortably tall.
Just you can't even look at them.
Just like you look at them and you just like can't help but stare.
Yep, just sideshow. Just oof, like those guys are awkwardly tall.
Look at that Bronco back there. It just looks like it doesn't belong.
Dude, just charge it. Just start running them over.
There's also a Mercedes right there up
Oh,
front.
the FCP Euro Benzo out there. I love that thing.
Yeah, it's like old school looking. You know, with a fancy grill and headlights.
I'd love to see it with like a DTM kit. Ooh,
yeah,
that'd be fresh.
Cool. Like an all CLK GTR.
Yep.
What do you have here? Oh, that's the JCX.
Yep.
Why JCX 100 or JCX 90? I can't remember. I'm not very good at my JCXs.
Yeah, I just call them the JZXs.
Yeah, I'm more of an ABC.
Yeah.
Guy.
It's easy as 1, 2, 3. You know what I mean?
Yep. Andy Crutcher from. I can see him is coming on the back on this FC. I thought he had like a little bit of an incident earlier, so he's back. So
nice.
Go. You can hear the audience.
Can hear the fans. They're hype.
Yelling and having a great time. Doesn't matter, rain or shine.
Yeah, we've had some interesting weather out here. Oh, look at this.
They're calling it bipolar weather.
Yeah, bipolar.
That's Colorado for you.
Yeah, can't figure it out.
Look at that, going up in the bank. Woo, that was sick. There you go.
Oh, here we go. We got a train.
Everybody's in their Forsberg. I mean, Hosford. Fielding Shredder.
The four
Blaze spots right there in the mix.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Fielding's out here.
Fielding, Corey. Yeah, just everybody's.
I saw Dustin Miles. He was. I don't know where he's at, but
he's here. But I haven't seen him drive.
I haven't seen him drive. He was calling out. Did you see that post of he was calling out Fielding Shredder about his gap?
Oh.
About like his gap in between his tires.
Yeah.
Here's Lauren Healy, MBRP, Nitto Tires. Lauren Healy, a King of the Hammers champ, Ultra 4 champ. That's he's part of the RTR Fun Haver team, him and Vaughn.
Well, they're about to have some jumping fun.
And yeah, it's a great photo if you haven't seen it. Vaughn Gittin Jr.'s IG, go and check it out.
I can't wait to see these
the doorless
Bronco going again, like going over a doorless Fox body. Those boys are wild. All right,
Falken Tires boys with a little Nitto tire sprinkled there at the end with Ryan Turk. But there we go. We're seeing JTP, Matt Field, and then even Larry Chen in his Toyota Gazoo Racing camera car.
Everybody's in That's what I was talking about that earlier. Like, where else can you see? Oh, they just couldn't get lined up properly.
Oh, are we going counter course?
They're going for the jump.
Oh, they're doing it.
There we go. And
yo.
Wow.
Sick.
Everybody gets
Whoa!
jumped over.
Yeah. Okay, that's real.
I thought they were gonna bail. I was like, all right, maybe they're not lining up properly. No, they just went for it.
Yep.
Oh,
Ooh,
look at
JTP. So deep,
All the way.
put that wall to sleep.
All the way into the wall. Retired competition car.
Yep.
Like it looked like he was missing a taillight. I think he went all the way.
Yeah, I think he tapped it.
Which is what he wants.
Yep.
You know, like we all know that that's exactly what he wanted. The ISR Performance 350Z. Not sure who's piloting. But just like everybody, using all of the track.
Yep. Yeah, McDowell.
McDowell. Oh, it's Brandon McDowell?
Yeah, he's got the. Yep.
McDrifting.
McDrifting. The golden arches, the golden arcs.
Yeah. I don't know if McDrifting is a good thing. You know, like a McDojo.
Yeah.
What if like
McDoja cat?
Huh?
McDoja cat?
McDoja cat.
I'm joking.
Oh, okay. That's like what? There goes Cletus.
Here comes Cletus. There it is.
Look at him go.
That's the Doja cat.
Oh, there you go.
Dojo cat. Oh, looks like Vaughn goes into the side. I think he's trying to put the sticker there on his door. Cletus has got Alec Karstens.
What am I gonna do?
Oh boy, what are you gonna do? There you go. Hell yeah, brother.
Throw
throwing up the
Shakas
horns.
out of the.
No, he's throwing up horns. He's not a Shaka guy.
Sorry.
He's more of a horns,
okay.
bro.
Yeah. If you have no door, what do you call that? It's not a window.
That would be a
opening.
Yeah. Well, it'd be a Fox half body.
A hatch. A Fox half body.
Yeah. A doorless Fox.
Or a Vixen.
A Vixen.
Okay. Vixen body.
Okay.
What do we have here? Austin Phipps, Audi, Corey Hosford with a Bosford team.
George K. He's in that the 350Z.
Happy to see George K's car hasn't broken.
Nope, you just cursed him.
He usually
You
hasn't. No.
cursed him.
He's usually having issues, and he's doing great all weekend. So I'm really happy for him.
Speaking of not being broken, Corey Hosford out here.
He was just getting his car tuned.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like he went with the link ECU. There's somebody in the paddock with capabilities, and I think it was like remotely talking to Jason, link ECU.
Sick.
Getting the car tuned.
That's great.
Isn't that so cool that you can just remotely tune a car?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the progressive vehicles, they tune them remotely. Like John Reed Racing, I know he does it for Forsberg and a lot of other pro teams. So definitely impressive.
Speaking of Forsberg, did you watch the race?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's guy one.
Yep, Brian Highcotter.
Yep, he took the first.
Got first place in the final race.
It was a pretty intense battle.
Yeah.
We were watching up in the roof, and they were like, he's getting close. And the way he passed, it was like excellent. It was very, very.
Yeah, that's what I heard. There were like 5 cars, and just went on the inside, getting the old loop-de-doop, and got in there and won.
Speaking of loop-de-doops, there's a Drift Riot loop-de-doop
nice
each
shot.
other. Look at that. There you go, going for the pass.
Oh, the alternate.
Nice. The good old switcheroo.
Like to call it the shell game.
Nice.
There you go, just moving around, moving the ball around.
I was talking to them yesterday. I was like, "Hey guys, like throw some cool tricks out there."
Oh yeah, so they did that for you?
Not for me, but for the fans.
Okay.
And speaking of the fans,
Adam LZ, the LZ S15 Sylvia out here.
Car.
Yep, his full comp car.
And have you seen his paddock?
Yeah.
Surrounded by fans.
Right. Yep. No, it was really cool during the break. The wind was whipping, the rain is drizzling, and look at this. We got Larry Chen.
I can't wait to see his
tow.
photos.
Yo.
This is so crazy.
So good. It's so good.
Leave it to Cletus to come up with interesting, funny things.
I love the doorless look, man.
Yeah, I wonder.
It's a Jeep thing though that you wouldn't understand.
Yeah, I have no idea. What is gonna put like one of those like foldable tents on top?
Right. Oh yeah, he's going overlanding.
Overlanding.
Yeah, he's going overlanding later.
There's a cool overlanding vehicles, not only in paddock, but also on the camping side.
Yeah, the rally-ready crew from Texas, including Bucky Elastics out there. Ron Carr, Ron Zaris is in the building, Texas Dave, and then Toyota with a full activation, whipping their TRD Pro setups, either 4Runner, Tacoma, or the Tundra out there.
You can go test drive him or something around the...
I believe you can ride along. I don't know if you're going to
ride
test
along.
drive
Okay,
him.
that's good enough.
Yep. And here's Lauren Healy coming through.
Setting himself up for another jumpity jump.
Crisscross. That's what I like to call it.
Crisscross applesauce?
No, crisscross will make you jump.
Oh.
Because he's a Miggity Mac Daddy.
Whoa.
Yep.
What was that?
Yeah. You don't know who Crisscross is?
Oh, I remember.
The kids
okay. Yep.
Yeah. How high? Real high. Because I'm just so fly. Yo, I'm a lovable type of guy.
Speaking of crisscross, look at this crisscross of Falken with Dario Shihara. We have Rom Sharp Interior, E36.
Hey,
Then
hey.
Ryan Turk, Toyota. So you have Euro, you have Nissan, you have Japan, you have, I will say the Toyota is also Japan as well. So yeah, we have everything in here.
Diversity.
Diversity.
Daio Shihara, nice angle there. Looks like Ryan Turk keeping his distance. I know, was it last year? He got no tussle with that with somebody. Was not happy about that. Had to repair it, but it's back out here and looks good.
Replace doors and whatnot. Those cars are so modular.
Yeah.
Like so much stuff you can just like take apart, put it back together. Looks like new.
Oh, here we go. All right. We got Jaeger out there, Chris Forsberg, and Matt Field. I believe these are VIP ride-alongs.
That's right.
So potentially 8 people in those vehicles.
So that's going to be
Young Gravy up in the building.
Let's see if you can see his face. Is he having a good time or is he scared?
I told him to go in the back because I just think it's a different sensation.
Oh yeah.
But it's always still sweet. I don't see a tall boy in there. So, but with the floor plan, floor plan. He's not building a house. The floor pan so low.
What's the square footage of his
the
car?
square footage of his vehicle. I think it's per square foot. I think it's about $5 square foot. It's a great value. Great value.
Right now,
sits on an acre land.
It's a buyer's market.
It's a buyer's market. You know what I mean?
Location, location, location.
And location is him putting that thing, sticking it to the clips.
Look at this view. It's chill, relax, peaceful.
The wind stopped, like I said, so that's kind of pleasant. It's kind of annoying. And then it was like you're talking to somebody who's really yelling at you loudly because the wind, and then it was like then they started spitting on you when they're talking. Yeah. Because the rain was just incessant.
Yep.
Just kind of just spitting on you. Oh, look at Swanee getting excited.
It's like, just go.
Let's
Don't
go.
stop.
Send it, Turkey.
But you know what I'm excited for?
What?
Tonight's.
Because tonight, we're seeing lasers.
Pew, 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 pew.
Yep.
That's a cool thing. So all these guys have their cars equipped with underglow and LED strips and tire flies.
Right.
Just adds up to the awesomeness of the of the effect. You know.
It's like Turk is a.
It's like, excuse me.
Yeah. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, you go, please, sir.
Matt Field having some. Whoa. Okay. I thought he was countering the wrong way. I was like, where are you going, bud?
Going wide.
Yep. Using all the course, getting all the way out there. Getting close to the fans. Oh, boy, I'm getting motion sickness, dude.
I think it was a drone.
Right?
Like, whoa.
Just puking my mouth a little bit.
Clean up aisle.
Yeah. And there's a couple Mustangs, old and new. Cletus out front. And originally what they did was they took the doors off because they actually, you can see there's a monster can on it. There it is. He grabbed the monster can off his fender.
He did it.
Alec grabbed the monster can off of his fender. That's what I was just going to say. They taped it right there, and Alec grabbed it. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
We got the.
Let's roll the replay there, boys. Look at this. Hell yeah, brother.
Let's watch the replay.
Do you have replay capabilities?
That'll be cool. If not, I mean, we can just rewind, rewind the live stream later.
We'll be good.
Get the footage of that.
Here it is. Here it is. So look,
MOMO
watch on the. Here's our MOMO moment. Yup, there it is. He's got his front halfer glove, grabs it. Look,
crack it open.
Thirsty
take
boys.
a sip.
There is our MOMO moment, showing you.
Leave it to Vaughn.
Dude,
I mean, precision driving to get put the car where he wants it.
All of it. All these guys.
Yep.
Larry Chen didn't get the shot because he's over there. I'm just kidding. Of course, Larry's on it.
He's everywhere, remember?
Yeah. He is omnipresent. Oh my
He's
gosh,
look,
Larry's up here in the booth,
drinking
and he's
the
right there.
It's omnipresence of Larry Chen.
All right, so Larry Chen grabbing the shot in his Toyota Gazoo Racing Toyota Supra. There's a JTP saying, "What's up, bro? You
This
want to
tells
run?"
you how big his
I
car
know,
is. It's just, Supra's gone.
Well, I believe that's a wrap here for this drift session. We will be back here taking a look at the schedule. Just want to make sure I don't quote the incorrect time, but what time are we going to be back here? Just want to make sure that 6:10. We'll be back here at 6:10, so about an hour, but we have plenty of things going on here. Alpine Horizon Festival. I'm Jared Deanna. Here's Paco Ibarra. 99 Rs, just one shy of 100 Rs. And there it is. And there it is. So, I mean, we don't have enough screen for the lower thirds here for Paco Ibarra.
It's going to be like lower fifths.
Yes, a lower 18ths. So thank you so much for joining us here. Again, Jared Deanna, Paco Ibarra. This is Alpine Horizon Festival from Pikes Peak International Raceway. Remember, 6:10, be back here for another drift demo. Thank you so much.
Guys.
GRIDLIFE Drift is brought to you by FCP Euro. Every part you buy is guaranteed for life. And by Falken Tire. Falken Tires, competition-proven performance. MOMO, the official safety partner of GRIDLIFE. BC Racing, the official suspension of GRIDLIFE Drift. Highly engineered custom coilovers that put you in control of every driving condition. Alpine Horizon is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. And by Airlift Performance. Airlift Performance lets you get low and live your life on air. Check out all their newest products, including Builder Series shocks, threaded manifolds, and flow air ride tanks at airliftperformance.com.